Good morning, my dear friend. As the first light of dawn gently touches the earth, and the hush of the early morning still wraps around your room like a soft blanket, I want to welcome you into this sacred space. It is no accident that you are awake in this quiet hour. This is not just another morning. This is a divine invitation. The world has not yet stirred, and the noise has not yet begun. In this in-between place, between night and day, something holy is waiting to unfold. I want to speak to the part of you that is tired, the part that has been silently carrying the weight no one else sees. Maybe you have woken up this morning with a heaviness pressing down on your chest, or a tight knot of worry you can seem to unravel. Maybe you are here because you feel lost or forgotten. Perhaps your heart is still aching from a loss you have not found the words to name. Or maybe, just maybe, you are holding on by the thinnest thread of hope that somehow today will be different. Let me tell you about a woman I once knew. She was kind, strong on the outside, always smiling, always making sure everyone else was okay. But in the quiet hours, long before the sun rose, she would sit on the floor by her bed and whisper prayers through her tears. Her husband had left. Her finances were crumbling. Her child was sick. And still, she whispered. She did not have fancy words or strong faith. She only had her broken heart and her voice. But something happened in those early mornings. Slowly, strength began to rise from places in her soul she did not know were still alive. She began to hope again. She began to trust again. She began to live again. What changed? It was not the circumstances right away. It was the presence she felt when she stopped everything else and turned her full attention to the one who never left her side. It was the power of surrender. It was the quiet fire of faith rekindled, one whispered prayer at a time. You see, prayer is not just a routine. It is not a checklist or a superstition. Prayer is the breath of the soul. It is the moment when everything else fades, and only truth remains. It is where burdens are exchanged for peace, and weakness becomes strength. In prayer, we come just as we are afraid, uncertain, exhausted, and find that we are not alone. We find that heaven leans in when we speak. We find that grace runs toward us faster than we could ever reach for it. This morning, as your eyes blink open in the fragile light, I invite you into something deeper. Something sacred, not a performance, but a conversation. Not with a distant God who demands perfection, but with a present, loving Father who longs to meet you in your real, raw humanity. He does not need eloquence. He just wants you. He just wants your honesty, your silence, your sighs, your hopes. He wants to walk with you not only on mountaintops, but also through the valleys and deserts of your journey. So wherever you are right now, in your bedroom, in your car, maybe even at work, breathe. Let your soul pause. Let this be the moment you stop running and start resting. Let it be the morning you stop pretending and start believing. You are not here by accident. Your awakening today is not random. This is your invitation. This is your turning point. Not because you have the strength, but because you are finally ready to receive it. Faith, even the size of a mustard seed, moves mountains. Prayer, even when whispered through tears, changes the atmosphere. And God, even when silent, is always listening, always near, always faithful. Are you ready to begin again? Not with answers, but with surrender. Not with fear, but with trust. Let us take the first step together. One breath, one prayer, one sunrise at a time. Let your heart open now and listen. He is already here, and He is waiting for you. Dear Heavenly Father, this morning I wake not with clarity, but with a weight I cannot name. The silence of this early hour wraps around me, but it does not soothe me. It only makes my emptiness feel louder. I am here, eyes open before the sun, not because I am strong or devoted, but because something inside me aches for something more than this. I do not know what else to do. I do not know what else to pray. I only know that I cannot keep carrying all of this alone. Come to you because there is nowhere else left to turn. I come without answers, without eloquence, without any sense of worth. I come as I am tired, worn down, and unsure of who I am anymore. I look at my life, and I see all the places where I have failed. The relationships that slipped through my fingers, the opportunities I lost, the promises I once believed in that now feel like distant memories. I do not even know how to begin rebuilding. I only know I cannot stay buried in this place much longer. You see me here, do not you, Father? You see past the mask I wear for others. You see the thoughts I try to silence, the fears I pretend do not exist. You see the nights I lie awake wondering if it will always be like this. You see the moments when I smile just to keep others from asking questions. And yet even now, with all that I am and all that I am not, I choose to speak to you. Because somewhere deep within me, there is still a flicker, a small, trembling hope that you are still near, that you still care. I do not ask for grand miracles or signs in the sky. I ask only for you, for your presence to be real to me, for you to draw close even as I feel far. I am not trying to impress you with words or show you how much faith I have. I am just trying to be honest. I am scared. I am confused. I feel like I am drowning in expectations and shame, and I can breathe. I need to know that you are still the same God who sees the one lost sheep, the one who reaches for the broken and the forgotten. There are things I carry that I have not told anyone, things I do not even know how to explain, pain that is too old to remember how it started, regret that creeps in like shadows, whispering that I will never be enough. Father, if you are really listening, if you are truly near, then help me now, not by changing everything around me all at once, but by meeting me here, right here, in this raw and lonely place. I need you not just in the parts of my life that look acceptable, but in the places I hide, in the places I avoid. I am not asking to be strong today. I am only asking to be held. I am asking you to sit with me in this moment and remind me that my weakness does not scare you, that my silence does not offend you, that my doubt does not drive you away. I want to believe that you still choose me. Even now, even when I feel like the pieces of who I was no longer fit together, even when I do not recognize the person I see in the mirror, I want to believe that you are not done with me. Father, I know that light exists even when clouds cover the sky. I know that morning comes even when the night feels endless. So I am here, reaching, not with strength, but with surrender, not with confidence, but with longing. I lay my heart before you like broken glass and ask you to come close, not to fix everything at once, but to be near enough that I can feel the warmth of your breath against my soul. You say that you are near to the brokenhearted. Then be near to me now. I do not know how to rise on my own. I do not know how to hope without trembling. But I do know how to be still. And this morning, that is all I have to offer. My stillness, my silence, my raw and honest self. Let it be enough for you. Let it be the beginning of something I do not yet understand. If there is anything in me that can still respond to you, stir it. If there is any voice within me that can still sing, awaken it. And if there is any light left inside me, no matter how dim, breathe on it until it burns again. I do not need to understand the way forward. I only need to know that you are in it with me, that you have not turned away, that even now, you still whisper my name with tenderness. I am not afraid to tell you that I am afraid. I am not afraid to cry where only you can hear. I am not afraid to break open in your presence, because I believe you are not a God who shames. You are a God who stays, a God who gathers every tear like treasure, a God who does not run from weakness, but runs to it. That is the God I am hoping for. That is the God I am waiting on. And if you are truly who you say you are, then you are already here. So I stop pretending. I stop performing. I stop trying to earn what I cannot buy. I stop holding back the parts of me that ache for healing. And I choose, in this first quiet moment of the morning, to let you see all of me, to open the door I have kept locked, to say out loud that I do not want to do this alone anymore. I do not ask for you to erase what has been. I ask for you to redeem it. I do not need you to promise that everything will be easy. I ask you to promise that I will not face it alone, that you will walk with me through this day and every day to come, that you will be the steady ground beneath my shaking feet, that you will be the voice louder than the lies, that you will be the light that finds me in the dark. I am not here because I have it all together. I am here because I do not. I am here because somewhere deep in me, I still believe you meet people like me, people who are tired, people who are scared, people who are not sure how to start again. So if this is a beginning, let it be holy, let it be honest, let it be yours, Lord. If you are still listening, if you have not turned away, then hear me now, because I do not come with answers. I come with longing, with questions too heavy to carry alone. I come as I am, fragile and trembling, standing in the middle of this vast wilderness of doubt and fear. And though I cannot see the way forward, something inside me still dares to whisper your name, not with certainty, but with desperation. Not because I have found you, but because I cannot bear the silence anymore. The quiet around me is loud with ache. I look for signs, for traces of you in the ordinary. But all I find are shadows of what used to be. Joy feels like something I used to know. Peace feels like a memory from another life. But still, I reach. Still, I call. Because even in my confusion, I refuse to let go of the hope that you are closer than I feel, closer than I deserve, closer than my fear wants to admit. Father, I am not asking for a way out. I am asking for a way through this heaviness that lingers like fog, through the weight of unanswered prayers, through the moments when faith feels more like a question than a declaration. I am asking you to be the voice that calls me back from the edge, the hand that steadies me when everything else shakes. I am not afraid to be desperate in front of you. I am not ashamed to say I need you. There are cries inside me I do not know how to name, longings that twist beneath the surface of every breath. I feel them when I lie awake and wonder if this season will ever end. I feel them when I walk through the day wearing smiles that do not reach my soul. I feel them most when I am alone, when there is nothing left to distract me from the H I carry. I do not know what to do with this weight. I only know that it was never meant to be mine alone. So I lay it down now. Not neatly, not confidently, but honestly. I drop every fear, every anxious thought, every silent disappointment at your feet. I place before you the burden of not knowing what comes next. I lay down the fear that I will never be enough, that I have missed my moment, that I will be stuck here forever. I place into your hands all the things I cannot control, the outcomes I have tried to force, the people I cannot fix, the wounds that still bleed quietly beneath my strength. If you are truly who you say you are, then you see all of this, not just the surface, but the root, not just the tears, but the H behind them. You see where my heart broke quietly, where trust began to unravel, where hope slipped through the cracks of disappointment. And if you are still the God who draws near to the broken, then I ask you, draw near to me now, not because I deserve it, but because you are merciful, because you are kind. Sometimes I wonder if my prayers get lost in the noise, if my voice, small and shaking, can reach the heavens at all. But then I remember the wilderness was never too wide for you. I remember the desert has always been the place where you speak the clearest. You met Moses in fire and Elijah in whisper. You met Hagar in her running and David in his hiding. You met the outcasts, the forgotten, the alone. So maybe you will meet me here too. God, I do not need a crowd. I do not need applause or validation. I need you. I need to know that even in the most barren parts of me, your presence can still dwell. That even in the dryness, there is a well that does not run empty. That even in the middle of this silence, there is a voice that calls me beloved. Not because I have earned it, but because you have chosen to love me still. I am not asking you to make me feel better. I am asking you to make me more aware of you, to make me brave enough to stay in this wilderness long enough to find you in it. Brave enough to believe that something holy can grow even here, even in this place of not yet and not enough. That you can build altars in the middle of uncertainty. That you can meet me on the path where I thought I was most alone. Teach me how to cry out without fear, to speak even when I do not feel strong, to pray even when I doubt, to reach even when I am empty. Let this wilderness become a sanctuary, not because it is comfortable, but because you are in it. Because if you are here, then I am not lost. I am not forgotten. I am not abandoned. I offer you every question I can answer, every H I can soothe, every fear I cannot shake. And I ask you to meet me here, not with all the solutions, but with yourself, with the warmth of your nearness, with the peace that makes no sense, with the courage to keep walking, even when I cannot see where the path will end. I am done pretending I have to navigate this life alone. I am done carrying the weight of everything I cannot fix. I am done trying to pray perfect prayers. From now on, I will cry out as I am. I will speak to you in the language of desperation and hope, and I will believe, even trembling, that you hear me. Because if I am crying out into the void, then let it be the void you once filled with light. If I am shouting into the silence, then let it be the same silence you once broke with a word. If I am lost in the wilderness, then let it be the wilderness where you come walking, calling my name, reminding me that I was never lost to you. This is not the end. This is not the edge. This is the middle, the place between who I was and who I am becoming. The place where transformation begins, even if I cannot see it. So I will cry, I will whisper, I will wait, and I will trust that even here, even now, you are working, you are listening, you are moving. And maybe, just maybe, the wilderness is not a punishment. Maybe it is preparation. Maybe it is the place where deep roots grow, where identity is rebuilt, where faith becomes something more than a word. Something real. Something lived. Something unshakable. So God, I do not ask you to take me out of this place. I ask you to come into it with me, to walk beside me in every question, to remind me that you do your greatest work in the unseen, in the quiet, in the H, in the wild. You are still God here, and I am still yours. Father, I do not always see clearly in this present darkness, but something deep within me knows I must not forget as I stand in this quiet place. Still searching, still waiting, I feel you stirring old memories in my spirit, not memories of pain or failure, but of light of those moments when you moved in ways I could not explain. Moments when help came at the last possible second. When comfort found me in the middle of despair. When I dared to believe that I was seen. You are calling me to remember, not to dwell in the past, but to be anchored by it, not in the pain, but in the proof, because somewhere behind the weight of today as struggle is the truth that you have been faithful before, that you have shown up in places that once looked impossible, that you have made a way where there was none. And if you did it then, you can do it again, God. I remember the first time I felt peace in the middle of chaos. I did not know where it came from. I only knew it did not belong to me. It wrapped around me like a blanket I did not ask for but desperately needed. I remember when I had no money, no answers, and no strength, and somehow the bill was paid. The door was opened. The need was met. I remember when I cried myself to sleep, thinking no one cared, and woke with an unexplainable calm, as if heaven had leaned close and whispered, "You are not alone." Those moments were not accidents. They were mercy. They were the evidence of your hand even when I could not see it moving. And now, as I struggle to believe again, I lean into what I have already known to be true, that you are a God who comes through, that you are the same yesterday, today, and forever, that the one who parted seas and fed thousands still knows my name, still knows this need, still knows how to reach me. Help me, Lord, to recall not just the miracles written in Scripture, but the ones you wrote into my own life. The unexpected phone call, the job that came just in time, the friend who showed up with exactly what I needed and had no idea I was praying. Help me remember the peace that came before the answer, the strength that came before the change, the light that came before the morning. You have done more than I have acknowledged. You have answered prayers I forgot I prayed. You have rescued me from dangers I never even knew were there. You have fought battles on my behalf that I did not have the strength to face. And now, you invite me to remember not just with my mind, but with my heart, to let gratitude be louder than fear, to let the memory of grace be the compass that pulls me forward when I do not know where to go. I confess, sometimes I forget too quickly. I let today's worries erase yesterday's wonders. I let pain drown out praise. I let my focus drift so easily to what I lack instead of holding tight to what you have already done. But not this time. This time I will stop and recall. I will name the times you showed up. I will speak them aloud. I will tell my own soul, "Look what the Lord has done." When the enemy whispers that nothing will ever change, I will shout back the testimony of how you changed everything before. When my own heart falters, I will steady it with truth. When doubt knocks, I will answer with remembrance. Because I am not starting from nothing. I am standing on miracles. I am walking forward with the weight of your past faithfulness wrapped around me like armor. You are not just a God of ancient stories. You are the God of my story, the God who turned panic into provision, the God who softened hearts I could not reach, the God who opened doors and walls I had accepted as permanent, the God who found me in places I never thought you would follow. You are not afraid of my mess. You are not limited by time. You are not held back by what I do not understand. I remember the quiet yeses, the holy delays that protected me from things I did not even know to fear. I remember when you closed the door and I cried, not knowing you were saving me from something smaller than what you had prepared. I remember when I thought it was over, and it turned out to be the beginning. And though I forget sometimes, you never forget me. You never stop showing up. even when I stop looking. So today I do not ask for new signs. I ask for a better memory. I ask to remember what you have already done, to revisit the altars of answered prayers, and let my faith rise again. Not because everything is clear, but because I know you have never let me go. Because even in the waiting, you are writing stories I will one day retell. Lord, let this memory be my strength. Let this gratitude steady me. Let my soul be awakened not by what is happening around me, but by what you have already done within me. You have healed. You have restored. You have forgiven. You have guided. You have carried me when I could not stand. I may be standing in uncertainty now, but I am not standing on empty ground. I am standing on the faithfulness of a God who has never failed me, a God who does not change with the seasons, a God who is still working, even when I cannot see it yet, a God who uses every chapter, even the painful ones, to lead me somewhere good. Help me to believe again by looking back, not with regret, but with reverence. Let my remembrance turn into praise. Let my praise become the language of my trust. Let my trust grow deeper than my fear. And let my fear be replaced with the knowledge that the one who has come through before will come through again. You have been good to me, even in the valleys, even in the drought, even in the silence. You have not abandoned me. You have not withheld love. You have not grown weary of my weakness. You have been patient, kind, and near. And for that, I choose to remember. I choose to give thanks. I choose to believe, not because of what I see, but because of what you have already done. This is not the end of the story. It is a continuation of a journey marked by mercy, a path lined with evidence of grace, a testimony unfolding, one faithful moment at a time, and no matter what today brings, I will remember who you have always been. Lord, if remembering what you have done before strengthens my faith, then help me now to be honest about what still weighs me down. Because even with all that I know, even with the miracles I have seen and the promises I cling to, fear still finds its way into the quiet places of my heart. And this morning, as the light creeps in and the world begins to stir, I feel the pressure again, that silent tension between belief and worry, between trust and trembling. I do not want to hide from it anymore. I want to lay it all before you. There are fears, Father, that follow me like shadows. Some I name aloud in whispered prayers, and others I carry silently, hoping they will disappear if I just do not look at them too closely. But they do not. They wait. They grow, and they steal the peace that you freely offer. So here I am, in the stillness of this morning, daring to speak the things I have been afraid to admit. Not because you do not know them already, but because I need to bring them into the light. I am afraid of not being enough. Not enough for the people who depend on me. Not enough for the dreams I carry. Not enough for the path I think I am supposed to walk. There is a part of me that still believes I need to perform for you to earn your love, your favor, your presence. But deep down I know that is not true. You have never asked me to be perfect. You have asked me to be honest. So I bring you my fear of failing, my fear of disappointing the ones I love, my fear of disappointing you. I am afraid of the unknown, of what is coming next, of doors that may close and the ones that never seem to open. I try to plan, to predict, to control, but I cannot. I have built whole conversations in my mind, imagined every worst-case outcome, braced for the heartbreak I am not even sure will come. And all it has done is steal today's peace for the sake of a tomorrow I can touch. I bring you my fear of the future now. Father, I place it in your hands, because mine are too small to hold it. I am afraid of being alone, of being unseen, unheard, forgotten. I smile and laugh and say I am fine, but the silence when no one's watching can be deafening. I wonder sometimes if anyone really knows me, the me that doubts, that aches, that questions everything. But you know, you see the part of me I have hidden from the world. You are not repelled by my ache. You are drawn to it. So I let you in now, into this fragile space, this fear of isolation, this hunger for connection that I have been too afraid to voice. I am afraid of loss, of loving too much and watching it slip away, of giving my heart and finding it broken. There is grief I still carry from things I never fully mourned. Goodbyes I did not see coming. Endings I did not understand. I hold tightly to what I have because I am afraid of what it would feel like to lose it. But fear was never meant to be the guardian of my heart. You were. So I release this fear too, God. I open my hands and ask you to protect what I love in ways I never could. I am afraid of time, of it running out, of being too late, too old, too far behind. I watch others move ahead, and I wonder if I have missed my moment. I measure my worth by milestones I have not reached. I carry invisible clocks in my chest, ticking louder with each passing year. But you are not bound by time, and neither is your plan for me. You hold eternity in your hands, and you hold me there too. Teach me to rest in that truth when fear says it is too late. God, I know fear is not from you. I know you have not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So I ask now, with all the courage I can find, that you would uproot every fear that has taken residence in my soul. Pull it out gently, but completely. Replace it with trust, not a shallow hope, but a deep confidence that whatever comes, I will not face it alone, that you are with me, for me, and working all things together for my good. Help me to stop making decisions based on what I fear might happen, and start living from what I know to be true, that you are faithful, that you are kind, that you are near. Let peace become the loudest voice in my heart. Let it hush the what-ifs and should-haves. Let it speak louder than the worry that waits at the edges of my thoughts. Remind me, Lord, that fear is just a signal, a sign that something in me needs to be surrendered, not something that defines who I am. Let me be brave enough to feel it, but not to follow it. Brave enough to acknowledge it, but not to let it lead. Give me discernment to know when fear is lying, when it is trying to keep me small, when it is holding me back from the very things you are calling me toward. I want to move forward not because the fear is gone, but because you are greater than the fear. I want to speak truth louder than doubt. I want to look the unknown in the eye and walk anyway, because you have gone before me. You are already in the future I cannot see. And if you are there, then it will be good. It will be enough. There is no fear in love, and you are love. So drive out what does not belong. Burn away the lies that have attached themselves to my heart. Heal the places where fear has made a home, where it has whispered false stories about who I am and what I can become. Replace them with your voice, with your truth, with the gentle assurance that I am safe in your hands. Lord, I know fear may still come knocking, but next time it does, let me open the door with peace in my chest and faith on my tongue. Let me remember that I am not weak because I feel afraid. I am strong because I bring that fear to you. I am strong because I do not pretend anymore. I am strong because I know who fights for me. You are the keeper of my mind, the defender of my heart, the anchor in every storm. You do not promise a life without fear, but you promise a presence that never leaves. And that is enough for me. So I come again today, with every trembling thought, every anxious heartbeat, every heavy moment I cannot carry alone. I bring them all to you. Let this be the place where fear loses its power. Let this be the moment where trust takes root again. Let this be the morning when I choose to believe not because I see the whole path ahead, but because I see you, and you are enough. Father, if fear begins to fade when I place it in your hands, then the next step must be honesty, not just about what scares me, but about what has wounded me and what I have wounded. There are things I have done and said, thoughts I have entertained, choices I have made that I cannot carry anymore. They weigh heavier than fear. They echo in places I try not to visit often. But this morning, I refuse to keep hiding. I am ready to face them with you. I have made mistakes. I have spoken words I wish I could take back. I have acted out of pride, selfishness, anger, and doubt. I have turned away from you not because I stopped believing, but because I did not know how to believe while carrying shame. There are memories that still sting when I recall them. People I hurt without meaning to, seasons where I drifted so far from who I was meant to be. I wondered if I could ever return. And yet, even as I whisper these truths, I feel you drawing near not to condemn, but to invite, not to punish, but to heal. You are not asking for perfection, only for truth. So I bring you mine, all of it. Every unspoken apology, every hidden regret, every moment where I chose something or someone above you. I bring the secrets and the scars, not because I think they define me, but because I believe you can redeem them. I have judged when I should have shown grace. I have remained silent when I should have spoken truth. I have looked away from pain because it made me uncomfortable. I have closed my heart to people you asked me to love. I have chased affirmation from places that could never satisfy. I have let bitterness take root where I should have chosen mercy. I see it now, God. I name it. I do not run from it. Because you are not surprised. You already knew. And still, you remain. There have been days I lived as though you were far off, when in truth, I was the one turning away. I wrapped myself in shame and convinced myself you were disappointed in me, that your grace had run out. But that was never your voice. That was the echo of my own guilt, not the sound of your mercy. So I step forward now, not in fear, but in faith, not because I feel worthy, but because you said I am welcome. God, I ask you to forgive me, not lightly, not casually, but deeply. I ask you to search the corners of my soul, the layers I have buried, and bring them into the open. I want nothing hidden between us. I want nothing lingering in the dark. Shine your light into the places I have sealed shut. Let truth flood in, and let grace rise even higher. Because I believe you do not reject the brokenhearted. I believe you mend what is torn. I believe that your mercy is more powerful than my mistakes. I confess not only my actions, but the motives behind them. I confess the times I tried to earn love instead of receiving it. The times I relied on my own strength instead of leaning on yours. The times I pushed people away out of fear they would leave me first. The times I ran ahead of you because waiting felt too risky. I bring it all to you, Father, and ask you to wash me clean. And I ask something harder now. Help me to forgive myself. Because sometimes that is even more difficult. I replay my failures like a film stuck on repeat. I punish myself long after the moment has passed. I hold on to guilt like it is a payment, as if suffering proves I am sorry enough. But that is not what you want from me. You want surrender, not self-punishment. You want repentance that leads to freedom, not chains made of regret. So I let go now. I speak forgiveness over my own name. I allow your mercy to reach even the places I have labeled as too damaged. I choose to believe that when you say I am forgiven, you mean it completely, not partly, not for now, but forever. Covered, redeemed, made new, not because I have made up for it, but because you already paid the price I never could. Lord, help me to extend that same mercy to others, to those who have hurt me, disappointed me, or walked away when I needed them. I want to forgive, even when it feels unfair. I want to release the weight of bitterness, even when I still feel the sting, because I know that holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to suffer. It only hurts me. It only blocks what you want to heal. Give me the strength to forgive the friend who betrayed my trust, the parent who did not show up when I needed protection, the partner who left when love was supposed to stay, the leader who spoke words that left scars, the stranger who never knew how deeply their actions impacted me, and the parts of myself that I still wrestle with, the versions of me I am trying to outgrow. Let grace flood every corner, every crevice where unforgiveness has lingered too long. I ask you to teach me what forgiveness really is: not forgetting, not minimizing, not excusing, but choosing to release, choosing to trust that justice is yours, choosing to believe that healing is better than holding on, choosing to believe that peace is possible, even when restoration with people is not, because forgiveness does not always mean reconciliation. Sometimes it just means freedom. Today, I open the cage. I choose freedom. For myself, for others, I choose to live unburdened by old narratives. I choose to believe that who I was is not who I am becoming. I choose to trust that you are writing a better story. Even with the chapters I wish had never been written, I do not have to be defined by my past. I do not have to carry the weight of yesterday into every tomorrow. Father, if you have forgiven me, then help me to walk like someone who is free. Let me speak like someone who knows grace. Let me love like someone who has received mercy. Let me live like someone who believes in redemption, not just as an idea, but as a reality. Let forgiveness be the soil where new life grows, where joy takes root again, where peace finds a home, where shame has no voice. I thank you for listening, even when my words are messy. I thank you for staying even when I have turned away. I thank you for your kindness that leads me back again and again, never with scolding, but always with open arms. You do not give up on me. You do not run out of grace. You do not keep a record of wrongs. You see me washed, restored, beloved. And that truth is what I choose to carry into this day. Not my guilt, not my fear, not my old name, but the name you have given me, child. Forgiven, free. Let that identity become louder than every accusation. Let it shape how I speak, how I think, how I see others, and how I see myself. Let forgiveness become my way of life, because it is the way you love. Father, now that I have laid my guilt down and dared to believe that I am truly forgiven, I find myself needing to come closer, not just to the idea of your love, but to the center of it. I come not only to be restored, but to remember what restoration cost. I do not want to glance at your mercy from a distance. I want to kneel before the very place where it began, the cross. Sometimes I forget, not because I want to, but because life gets loud and fast. I forget what it means that you gave everything. I forget that grace is not a vague kindness, but a blood-stained gift. I forget that my forgiveness, my freedom, my peace were paid for with pain not mine, but yours. I forget that before I ever asked to be loved, you were already loving me beyond comprehension. God, bring me back now, not just in thought, but in awe. Let me see again with clear eyes and a tender heart. Let me come face to face with the depth of what you did for me, not out of guilt, but out of reverence, not out of duty, but out of a longing to know the kind of love that would stretch itself wide upon wood and stay not because you had to, but because you chose to. You were not forced to suffer. You embraced it. You walked toward it when others would have run. You were mocked, beaten, broken. You were left alone, betrayed by friends, pierced by those you came to save. And still, you stayed. Still, you forgave. Still, you looked upon those who cursed you and whispered mercy. And you thought of me, not as an afterthought, but as the reason. You saw my face through the veil of blood and agony, and you counted it worth it. You saw the sins I would commit, the shame I would carry, the weakness I would hide, and you still stretched out your arms and said it is finished, not just for the world in general, but for me specifically. Lord, I I cannot look at the cross and feel entitled. I cannot come near it and pretend that grace is small. I cannot claim to understand love and ignore the price you paid to offer it. So I slow down now. I pause here. I bring my soul to this sacred ground and ask you to let it change me again, not in a way that fades by noon, but in a way that leaves a mark, a holy weight that steadies me when I am tempted to drift. I have rushed past the cross too often. I have made faith about improvement, about getting better, about keeping up. But here, all of that fades. There is no comparison at the foot of the cross. No competition. No hierarchy. Only the broken being made whole. Only the weary finding rest. Only the lost being called by name and brought home. I do not come here because I am strong. I come because you were. I do not stand here because I have done well. I stand because you stood in my place, because you took what I could not carry, because you absorbed every sin, every failure, every weight, and then rose again to tell me it no longer holds me. Let the cross never become routine to me. Let it never grow dull or distant. Let me never outgrow my need to kneel before it. Because it is not just where my story was redeemed, it is where it began. It is where I was found. It is where shame lost its voice, and love found its language. Father, I know I will fail again. I will fall short, forget, wander. But when I do, remind me that the cross does not move, that it is still here, still speaking, still enough. Remind me that you are not asking me to earn what has already been paid in full. You are only asking me to come back, to come honestly, to come with empty hands and a willing heart. Let the beauty of your sacrifice reshape my days. Let it soften the hard parts of me, silence the prideful thoughts, and revive the places that have gone numb. Let it teach me to love like you, not conditionally, not when it is easy, but even when it costs. Let it remind me that nothing I do for you is ever too small, because you withheld nothing from me. God, you were not just crucified, you were willing. That changes everything. You were not caught by surprise or dragged unwillingly to your fate. You walked the path, carrying the weight of the world, and still found time to comfort others on the way. You saw pain coming, and still you chose love. And that is the kind of love I want to live in. The kind that does not flinch, the kind that stays, the kind that does not depend on circumstances or emotions, the kind that gives when there is nothing left to give, the kind that reflects you not just in words, but in the way I walk, the way I treat others, the way I remember what you have done for me. I do not want a faith that forgets the cross. I do not want a religion that makes me feel clean on the outside while I carry shame on the inside. I want a relationship that begins here, at the foot of your sacrifice. A relationship where love looks like surrender, where obedience grows out of gratitude, not fear. You gave everything so I could have a way home, so I could have peace, so I could stand unashamed in your presence. Let that truth become the anthem of my soul. Let it echo louder than the noise of this world. Let it hold me together when everything else comes undone. There is no greater love than this, that you would lay down your life for mine, not out of obligation, but out of joy, because you saw what I could not see. You saw beyond my brokenness, beyond my past, beyond my failures. You saw who I could be with you, who I would be once set free. And now, here I am, learning to love you back, learning to believe that I am worth what you gave, learning to accept that this gift, this cross, was not a symbol of punishment, but of possibility, a place where death ends and life begins, a place where I can return as many times as I need, and still be welcomed. Let my soul always remember. Let my life always point here. Let my heart be shaped by the weight of this moment, not just once, but every day. Because here, I am reminded that love always costs something. And you paid it gladly. You paid it fully. You paid it for me. So I will carry that love into today, not with shame, but with awe, not with fear, but with devotion, not with performance, but with presence. Because you are not asking me to prove anything. You are asking me to stay close, to remember, to let the cross change how I live, how I give, how I forgive. And in doing so, maybe I will learn to love others the way you have loved me, with open arms, with willing sacrifice, with a heart that stays soft even in a hard world. That kind of love begins here, at the cross, and I am ready to carry it forward. Father, after returning to the cross and feeling again the weight of your love, I find myself quieter than before, not because I have nothing to say, but because my soul has been hushed by something holy. It is not sorrow that silences me now, but reverence, not fear, but rest. I do not need to strive in this moment. I do not need to explain or perform or persuade. I only need to be here still, open, present. There is something sacred in this stillness, something I have often missed. I move through my days with noise in my ears and urgency in my heart. I chase answers. I reach for solutions. I fill empty space with distraction and call it progress. But here, in the quiet that follows surrender, I realize how much I have been missing, how much I have rushed past, how often I have filled the silence you meant to speak into. God, teach me to be still without shame, to sit in your presence without needing to earn it, to rest without the guilt that says, I should be doing more. I want to learn the rhythm of grace, not the rhythm of exhaustion, or pressure, or endless striving, but the rhythm that beats steady beneath every storm, the rhythm that invites me to breathe deep and know that I am held. So I breathe now, slowly, fully. I let the thoughts that clamor for attention fade into the background. I let the H of unanswered questions rest without resolution. I let the need to control loosen its grip. I am not in charge here, and I do not need to be. You are God, and you are not anxious. You are not overwhelmed by my circumstances. You are not hurried. You are not distant. You are here, and that is enough. In this stillness, I begin to notice the things I missed before, the way peace settles not as a feeling, but as a presence, the way your love does not rush past, but lingers, patient and kind, the way grace does not shout, but whispers softly until my soul begins to lean in. You are not demanding in this place. You are gentle, and your gentleness is what undoes me. Lord, I have come to you so many times asking for change, asking for rescue, asking for strength. And you have given all of it. But now I ask for something simpler and maybe even more profound. I ask to know you in the quiet, to recognize you in the absence of noise, to find joy in your nearness when nothing is happening, to find healing not just in the miracles, but in the moments between them. Let this be the holy pause that teaches my heart to slow. Let it be the space where my soul exhales. Let it be the morning where I stop chasing and simply receive. Because you are not far. You are not waiting for me to say the right words or do the right thing. You are already here, and your grace is not a reward for effort, is a gift full, undeserved, and freely given. You know how hard it is for me to be still, to let go of the belief that worth is found in business, to stop measuring myself by output and start resting in identity. But you are patient with me, even in this. You do not rush my growth. You do not shame my struggle. You meet me in it, and you keep offering this quiet space, again and again, until I learn how to stay. So here I am, God, still, listening, letting the noise settle, letting the tension in my body release, letting my heart beat unburdened. You are not asking me to do anything right now. You are simply inviting me to be known, to be loved, to be reminded that I am already enough, because you are already enough. I do not need to chase peace. It is here. I do not need to demand joy. It is growing quietly beneath the surface. I do not need to grasp at control. You hold everything, every detail, every moment, every breath in your capable hands. And here, in this moment, I choose to trust that, not because I understand, but because I believe you are trustworthy. Let this stillness mark me. Let it seep into the corners of my day. Let it change the way I speak, the way I think, the way I move. I do not want to rush through life, always chasing the next thing. I want to live from a place of rest. Not inactivity, but deep-rootedness. Not passivity, but peace. A peace that anchors me so deeply in you that nothing around me can shake it. This is where I find you, not only in the fire or the storm or the earthquake, but in the gentle whisper that follows, in the breath between thoughts, in the pause between heartbeats, in the quiet where my striving ends and your presence begins. You are not hidden in the noise. You are waiting in the quiet, calling me back to stillness. And here, I remember who I am, not what the world calls me, not what my failures suggest, not what fear insists, but who you say I am: beloved, chosen, safe, and in that identity, I can breathe, I can stay, I can rest without fear of falling behind, because you are not rushing me. You are walking with me. Father, let this stillness become a sanctuary I carry with me, a place I can return to throughout the day when the world grows loud again. Let it be a well I draw from when anxiety rises. Let it be the atmosphere of my soul, not just a moment I visit, but a reality I live from. Let grace be the air I breathe, not the task I chase. You do not measure me by how much I accomplish today. You delight in me because I am yours. Let that truth quiet every lie that says I must prove myself. Let it silence the inner critic. Let it calm the restless parts of me that are still learning how to receive love without condition. This morning, I choose to sit with you. I choose to let the light of your presence warm the places in me that have grown cold. I choose to dwell, not just visit. To abide, not just brush past. 'Cause this is where I am changed. Not in the rush, but in the rest. Not in the loud, but in the low. Not in doing more, but in being with you. And even as the day begins to rise and the world begins to pull, I ask you to keep this stillness close. Let it stay with me like a gentle melody beneath the noise. Let it guide my reactions, shape my words, soften my steps. Let it remind me that I was made not just to do things for you, but to be with you. There is healing in this rest. There is power in this quiet. There is joy in simply being loved. And for today, that is enough. You are enough. And here, in this stillness, I remember that again. Father, as I remain in the stillness of your grace, I begin to realize how noisy my thoughts have become. Even in this sacred quiet, there are undercurrents that stir thoughts that question, thoughts that wander, thoughts that pull me away from peace. I know now that true rest cannot exist if my mind remains restless. So I bring you this part of me today, my thinking, my reasoning, my imagination, my fears. I ask you to come close and renew it all. Sometimes the loudest battles are the ones no one can see, the ones that take place inside my mind. In the silence between words, I carry thoughts that do not serve me, narratives that repeat from wounds I have not fully named. I entertain lies I do not even realize are lies, and they shape the way I see myself, others, and even you. But I do not want to be ruled by what is untrue. I want the mind of Christ. I want to think in a way that leads to life and not fear, hope and not despair, truth and not distortion. God, help me recognize the thoughts that do not come from you, the ones that accuse, condemn, shame, and isolate. Help me see them for what they are: intruders, not identity. I do not want to let destructive thoughts live rent-free in the space you have called holy. My mind was not created to be a battlefield of confusion. It was created to be a resting place for truth. So I surrender my thoughts to you. I bring you the patterns that have worn deep grooves over time, habits of thinking that lead me back into anxiety, comparison, criticism, and fear. I ask you to break them. I ask you to rewrite them. I ask you to retrain the way I process the world around me. Let me not be conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of my mind, so that I may know what is good and pleasing in your will. I want to think the way Jesus thinks, not just kindly, but clearly, not just positively, but powerfully. I want a mind rooted in eternal perspective, anchored in truth even when feelings rage like storms. I want to process conflict without bitterness, success without pride, failure without despair. I want my internal life to reflect your spirit, not my insecurities. I want to discern what is of you and what is not. There are thoughts that rise from fear of the future. What if I fail? What if I am rejected? What if nothing changes? But you do not dwell in the land of what if. You dwell in the land of I am. You are present. You are sovereign. You are writing a story that includes both the struggle and the redemption. So help me cast down every argument, every imagination, every false logic that sets itself up against the knowledge of who you are. I also confess that there are thoughts I have allowed because they feel familiar: self-judgment disguised as humility, cynicism masked as wisdom, worry dressed up as preparation. But familiarity does not mean truth. If it is not bringing me closer to peace, closer to love, closer to you, then it is not worth keeping. Teach me to recognize these patterns quickly and replace them with what is good, with what is true, with what reflects your heart. Let my mind not be a place of chaos, but of clarity. Let it not be a holding space for every fear, but a garden where your promises are planted and cultivated. Let your word dwell richly in me, so that when my thoughts begin to spiral, they land on truth. Let scripture not just be something I read, but something that reads me, that cuts through confusion and speaks life into the places that doubt has tried to choke out. Lord, I want my thoughts to align with your thoughts, not because I am trying to earn closeness to you, but because I am already close, because you live within me, because the same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead is the same Spirit that empowers my mind to walk in freedom. I am not helpless against the war in my thoughts. You have given me authority, not to pretend the battle does not exist, but to stand in it differently, with peace as my shield and truth as my sword. I pray for wisdom today, wisdom that sees beyond what is immediate, wisdom that is not reactive, but discerning, wisdom that chooses stillness when the world demands noise. Wisdom that sees people through your eyes instead of my own broken filter. When I am tempted to assume, remind me to ask. When I am tempted to defend, remind me to listen. When I am tempted to judge, remind me of mercy. Let the mind of Christ be more than an idea. Let it become the posture I carry into every conversation, every decision, every moment of tension or joy. Let it govern the way I treat strangers and those closest to me. Let it shape my inner dialogue, turning criticism into compassion, self-doubt into surrender, confusion into quiet trust. Let it teach me to speak life, not only to others, but to myself. I want my thoughts to be a home for peace, a sanctuary where hope lives, a place where gratitude finds room to grow. I want to build a thought life that reflects the kingdom, where love is louder than fear, where truth is stronger than insecurity, where grace is greater than regret. But I cannot build this alone. I need your Spirit to guide me, to catch the thoughts that try to sneak in through old wounds, to catch the lies before they settle. So I ask you, Father, to create in me a clean mind, a sound mind, a quiet mind, a mind that does not race toward worst-case scenarios, but leans into divine possibilities. A mind that is not burdened by what others might think, but is lifted by what you already say. a mind that has space for silence, for beauty, for awe, a mind that sees beyond itself and lifts its gaze toward heaven. Train me to take every thought captive, not out of fear, but out of love, not because I am afraid of messing up, but because I want to honor the life you have given me. I want to steward my mind the way I would a garden tending, pruning, nurturing what is good, and when weeds grow, let me pull them without shame. Let me bring them to you without hiding. Let me trust that you will not judge me for the struggle, but will help me through it. This is not about perfection. This is about presence, about learning to think in step with you, about unlearning the lies I have lived with and making space for the truth you are constantly speaking. Truth that says I am loved, chosen, called, and kept. Truth that says I am not too broken to be made whole. Truth that says you are not far, and neither is peace. So I yield this space to you again, this mind of mine, with all its twists and turns. Its wanderings and wanderings, it belongs to you. Teach me how to think like you, see like you, speak like you. Let the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, guard my heart and mind, not just in moments of crisis, but in every ordinary breath. And let that peace be my compass. Let it lead me through uncertainty. Let it anchor me when the winds blow. Let it mark my thinking so clearly that others can sense it not as pride, but as presence, the presence of someone who walks with the mind of Christ and lives from the deep quiet of his truth. Lord, as I continue to yield my thoughts to you, I realize that healing is not just for the body, but for the mind and soul too. There are places in me that need more than clarity. They need restoration. Parts of me still tender from what I have been through. Wounds that have been covered, but not truly mended. So now, with a quiet heart and an open spirit, I invite you to come and heal me in the deep places, the places no one sees, the ones I have ignored, protected, or tried to outrun. Father, I know you are the God who heals. You are the one who touches what others deem untouchable. You are the one who calls the broken whole, who breathes life into what was lifeless, who brings light into the shadowed corners of a wounded soul. I do not bring you a perfect offering. I bring you the ache I carry in silence, the places I have kept guarded behind smiles and strength. I bring you the scar tissue I have learned to live with and ask you to make me new. There are memories that still sting, words spoken long ago that echo as if they were said yesterday, disappointments that never fully left, betrayals I did not know how to process, losses I pretended did not matter. All of these have shaped how I see myself, how I move through the world, how I relate to you. But I no longer want to live from places of unhealed pain. I want to live from wholeness. God, begin with my heart. Heal the places that hardened from survival. Soften what became callous through weariness and disappointment. Reach into the core of who I am and bring peace to the places that still wrestle with grief, regret, and unspoken sorrow. I cannot fix myself, but I believe you are not only able, you are willing. You do not avoid broken things. You are drawn to them. You move toward pain with compassion, not distance. Touch my emotions. Lord, where anxiety has rooted itself, let peace flow. Where sadness lingers quietly beneath the surface, let joy rise like the morning sun. Where numbness has dulled what used to feel alive, breathe your spirit and awaken me again. I do not want to merely exist. I want to feel safely, freely, fully. I want to be unafraid of my own depth, because I trust that you can hold it all. And Father, I ask for physical healing too, not just as a hope, but as a bold request. You made this body. You know every cell, every joint, every breath. You know where the imbalance lies. You know the diagnosis, the tension, the fatigue. You see what no test can reveal, the wariness that goes beyond symptoms. Lay your healing hand upon every system, every function, every place that cries out for relief. Let your power flow through me like a river, steady and sure. Where pain has lived too long, let there be comfort. Where illness has taken space, let there be renewal. Where weakness threatens to steal joy, let there be strength. I do not claim healing because I deserve it. I claim it because you are a healer, because you have not changed, because you are still doing miracles in quiet, ordinary places. And I believe this moment can be one of them. Heal me from the labels I have accepted, the ones others gave or I gave myself. During moments of despair, I am not broken beyond repair. I am not too far gone. I am not a collection of mistakes and missed chances. I am your child. I am deeply loved. And healing is my inheritance, not because of my strength, but because of your mercy. I also bring you the places where I have resisted healing, the parts of me that became comfortable in dysfunction, the patterns I clung to because they felt familiar, the pain I held on to because I did not know who I would be without it. Help me let go, even if healing means changing, even if it means learning to live without what once defined me. Give me the courage to step into freedom, even if it feels unfamiliar at first. And Lord, I pray not only for myself, but for those I love, for the friend who can tease sleep through the night, for the parent carrying quiet sorrow, for the child who does not yet know how to express their pain, for the spouse holding on to someone who is slipping away, for the one who smiles in public but weeps in private. Reach them. Find them in their moment of need. Let your healing flow beyond time and space, beyond diagnosis and despair. You are not limited by what limits us. You are not bound by statistics or timelines. You can speak one word, and everything changes. You can whisper peace, and storms cease. You can stretch out your hand, and years of suffering fall away in a single breath. You did it then. You can do it now. And I believe you still delight in restoring what others have given up on. Let healing come not only in dramatic moments, but in the slow, sacred rebuilding, in the process that teaches patience, in the small signs of life returning, in the steady strength that grows day by day. Teach me to recognize healing, even when it does not look the way I expected, even when it arrives not in fireworks, but in quiet resilience. And as you heal, let me not forget the healer. Let me stay close, Let my heart not grow prideful, thinking it was my doing. Let me remember that every breath, every movement, every ounce of joy is a gift, a miracle in motion, a testimony to your goodness. Use my healing, Lord. Let it not stop with me. Let it flow through me to others. Let my story become someone else's encouragement. Let the scars I carry become signs of hope, not shame. Let the places you have restored in me become places of compassion, where I can sit with those still waiting. Let me never be afraid to say, I was broken too, but now I live. I was weary too, but now I rise. Not because I found the answer, but because I met the healer. So here I am, open and expectant, not demanding, but trusting, not rushing, but surrendering. I give you full access, God, to the places I have hidden, the pain I have minimized, the wounds I have denied. You are safe, you are gentle, you are kind, and I trust you with my healing, from the inside out, from the past into the present, from head to heart to body. Let your river flow. Let it reach every corner. Let it carry me where only you can. Father, as healing begins to touch the hidden parts of my soul and body, I feel something shifting deeper within, something sacred, yet weighty. It is not just restoration you are calling me into. It is release, because even as wholeness returns to my heart, there are chains I still feel wrapped around me, invisible but real, heavy but familiar. I have learned to live with them, but you did not call me to live bound. You called me to be free. So I bring these chains into the light now, not just the ones I see clearly, but the ones I have grown used to, the ones I forgot were never meant to be mine. I bring you every stronghold, every cycle, every lie that has tried to define me, and I ask you, by the power of your Spirit, break what has bound me. Not gently, not gradually, but completely, once and for all. God, I confess that I have let fear shape my decisions, not just the surface kind, but the kind that speaks with authority over who I am, the kind that disguises itself as caution, as humility, even as wisdom. But fear is a chain when it keeps me from walking in what you have called me to. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of not being enough, fear of what others will think. These are not from you. And today, I choose to name them. I refuse to let them lead, break their grip, Lord. And with fear comes shame, that shadow that clings to my past, to moments I cannot change, to versions of myself that no longer exist. Shame tells me I am what I have done. It tells me I must hide, perform, overcompensate. But you say I am free. You say I am covered. You say I am not defined by my lowest moment, but by your highest sacrifice. Let that truth burn through every lie. Let it shatter shame until there is nothing left but grace. Father, I also lay down guilt that has lingered too long. Guilt over words spoken in anger, over silence when I should have spoken, over missed chances and broken promises. Guilt that keeps me stuck in yesterday. I have carried it like a penance, hoping it would somehow make me more worthy. But it has not. It has only weighed me down. And you never asked me to carry what you already forgave. So I lay it down now, and I ask you to break its hold. Addiction has also tried to write its name across parts of my life. Not just the obvious kinds, but addiction to approval, to comfort, to control. I confess the habits I have built to cope instead of heal. I confess the ways I numb instead of feel. I confess the patterns I have called personality, but were really just chains in disguise. Lord, I cannot break them alone, but I believe you already did. Let me walk in that truth. Let me live like someone who is no longer captive. Break the chain of comparison, the quiet voice that tells me I am behind, that others are better, more loved, more called, more valuable. It keeps me measuring my life by someone else's timeline. It steals my joy. It poisons gratitude. It blinds me to what you are doing in me. Let me see clearly now. Let me celebrate others without questioning myself. Let me rest in the truth that my lane is mine, my pace is mine, and my purpose is yours. Lord, I ask you to expose and break the generational chains I never agreed to but somehow inherited. Patterns of fear, cycles of conflict, learned behavior rooted in pain, not peace. I ask you to stop what has passed through bloodlines, to draw a line in the spirit that says, this ends here. Let what affected those before me lose its grip on me. Let blessing replace burden. Let freedom flow down like a river, not just for me, but for those who come after me. I also bring you the chain of unforgiveness toward others and toward myself. It has hardened parts of my heart. It has kept me bound in bitterness I mistook for protection. But I see it now. I see that unforgiveness is not power. It is a prison. And I want out. I release the names, the faces, the memories. I give them to you, trusting that justice belongs in your hands. Free me from the weight of revenge. Fill the space it leaves with peace. Break the chains of doubt that keep whispering that I will never change, that healing one last, that freedom is not for me. They tell me I will always go back to who I used to be, that what was will always come back around. But you are the God of new things, the one who breaks cycles and births futures. Let your voice drown out the lies. Let hope rise where resignation once lived. Let faith be louder than fear. God, I also renounce every identity I have worn that did not come from you. Every name, every label, every title spoken in moments of anger or abandonment. I am not worthless. I am not too much. I am not invisible. I am not broken beyond repair. I am not unlovable. These were never yours to give. I release them now. I break agreement with every voice that does not reflect your truth. Let those chains fall in the presence of your love. I declare that my spirit belongs to you, that my future is not chained to my past, that I am not a slave to what once held me, that I am not stuck, not trapped, not beyond breakthrough. Your spirit lives in me. Your power is alive in me. And where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, not temporary relief, true, lasting unshakable freedom. So I step forward now, not as someone trying to be free, but as someone who already is. I may not feel it yet. I may still see the shadows, but I walk by faith, not by sight. And faith says the prison doors are open. Faith says the locks are broken. Faith says I do not have to live according to what bound me yesterday. I can live in step with what is true today. And Lord, as I walk in this freedom, let me never forget what it cost. Let me carry the weight of it with honor. Let me use it well, not to prove anything, not to elevate myself, but to serve, to speak, to love others who are still sitting behind invisible bars. Let me be a witness of what you can do, not just in theory, but in reality. Let my life testify that chains do not define people, that freedom is possible, that no matter how deep the pit, your love reaches deeper, that no matter how strong the bondage, your power is stronger. Let freedom not just be my personal miracle, but my ministry. Let others see it in my eyes, hear it in my voice, feel it in my presence. Because whom the sun sets free is free indeed. Not almost. Not eventually. But fully. And that is what I receive today. That is what I claim over every part of my life, my mind, my body, my heart, my habits, my relationships, my purpose. Every space that once held a chain is now open for something new, something holy, something whole. And I will not go back, not because I am strong enough, but because you are holding me, because grace sustains what grace begins, because love is louder than the echo of captivity, because you do not leave me half-delivered. You complete what you start. You finish what you break open. You rebuild what you rescue. So I walk forward now, no longer dragging what once held me. The chains are broken. The prison is empty. The door is open. And I am stepping through. Lord, now that you have broken the chains that once held me, I ask you to clothe me in strength, not the kind the world chases, the strength of image or status, but the kind that holds steady when the night is long. Because I know freedom does not mean the absence of battle. In fact, sometimes freedom makes the enemy rage more. But I am not afraid. I am awake now, and I know where to run. I know where to stand, and I ask you, right here in this quiet hour, dress me for the day with the armor only you can give. Father, I have walked too many days unguarded, unaware of the silent wars happening in the unseen. I have fought battles with the wrong weapons. I have tried to fix spiritual problems with fleshly effort, but no more. I want to be equipped with what is eternal, with what does not break or rust or fail. I want to walk in light, not just for my own protection, but as a testimony to your presence in my life. Let your truth be what I wear before I face anything else. So this morning, I ask you to wrap me in the belt of truth. Secure it tightly around my soul, that I may walk in what is real, not in what fear tries to suggest. Let me not be swayed by feelings or opinions or illusions. Let me be anchored in what you have spoken. Let your truth define who I am, how I think, how I respond. Let no lie slip past unnoticed. Let no false identity have space in my mind. Bind me to what is everlasting. Remind me constantly that truth is not an idea, it is a person. And I walk with him. Place on me the breastplate of righteousness, not my own, but yours. I know my own righteousness is like a fragile covering, thin and flawed. But yours, Lord, is solid. Yours guards my heart from shame, from accusation, from every dart that tries to pierce the center of who I am. Teach me to live from this place, not trying to earn your love, but protected by it. Let this breastplate guard the parts of me that are still healing, still learning, still growing. Let it remind me that I am covered, that I am safe in your hollowness. Fit my feet with the readiness of the gospel of peace. Let me walk into every room, every conversation, every place with peace as my foundation, not with the need to defend or impress or react, but with a calm that comes from knowing who walks with me. Let peace be my posture, firm, steady, and unmoved. Let me carry the message of reconciliation, not only in my words, but in the way I live. Let me be a peacemaker, even in chaotic spaces. Let the peace I walk in change the atmosphere around me. Place the shield of faith in my hands. Not small, not fragile, but large enough to cover every angle of attack. Let me lift it high when doubts try to rise. Let me hold it steady when fear whispers lies. Let faith be the wall between my soul and every flaming arrow. Let it grow stronger with every test, every trial, every step into the unknown. Teach me to trust you even when I cannot trace you. Let faith remind me that what I see is not all there is, that you are always working behind what I do not yet understand. Place upon my head the helmet of salvation. Let it guard my thoughts, my memories, my focus. Let me remember that I am saved, not just once, but always saved from condemnation, from hopelessness, from the weight of what I cannot fix. Let this helmet protect my mind from the lies that try to return, from the guilt that tries to reattach, from the past that tries to replay itself. I am yours, saved and sealed. Let that truth wrap around my thoughts like a shield, like a song I can forget. And finally, hand me the sword of the Spirit, your word. Let it not sit on a shelf or remain a vague comfort. Let it come alive in me. Let it be sharp in my mouth and steady in my hands. Teach me how to use it not to wound others, but to cut through deception, to speak life where death is trying to settle, to declare freedom where fear has ruled. Let Scripture rise in me like breath, like light, like fire. Let it shape how I see, how I speak, how I stand. Lord, I do not want to step into this day half-covered. I do not want to walk unaware. I know the enemy is real. I know he prowls in silence, looking for weak spots, distractions, open doors. But I also know he is already defeated. I know that every scheme loses power in the presence of your name. I know that light is greater than any darkness, that your authority covers every inch of my life. So I will not cower. I will not shrink. I will stand, dressed in what you have given. Help me to remember that this armor is not heavy, it is holy. It does not burden me, it frees me. It does not weigh me down, it lifts me up. This is not the armor of someone preparing for failure. It is the armor of the victorious. It is the covering of someone who knows they are already seated with Christ in heavenly places. Someone who fights not for victory, but from it. And as I wear this armor, let me walk with eyes open, not to fear the dark, but to bring light to it. Let me intercede for others, not just protect myself. Let me pray in the Spirit on all occasions, staying alert and ready, because this is not just about me. This is about the world you love, the people who are still searching, the souls who do not know they are still in chains. Let me fight for them. Let me pray for them. Let me carry light into every space you send me. Clothe me fully, Lord, because I do not know what today holds, but I know who holds me. I know who walks ahead of me and behind me and beside me. I know who fights on my behalf and whispers peace into the places I fear. I do not need to be afraid. I am not exposed. I am not defenseless. I am covered in light. I am armed with truth. I am protected by love. Let the armor of light shine through me, not as a display of pride, but as a witness of grace. Let it be seen in my silence, in my strength, in the way I love without fear. Let it remind me who I am when I forget. Let it speak louder than the voices around me. Let it draw others near, not to me, but to you. This is how I will live aware, covered, and courageous, not because the fight is easy, but because I am no longer fighting alone. You go before me. You prepare the ground, and with your armor, I will stand, I will endure, I will overcome, because I am no longer who I was. I am yours, and I am ready. Father, now that I am clothed in your armor and aware of the battles that surround me, I sense you leading me into a different kind of strength, one that is not just about standing firm, but about building again. Because freedom is not just release from what once bound me. It is an invitation to rise, to restore, to step forward into something new. And while I am grateful for the chains you have broken and the armor you have given, I bring you now the places in my life that lie in ruins. I ask you to help me rebuild. There are dreams that were once alive inside me, vibrant, holy, full of purpose that now lie dormant. Whether by disappointment, delay, or defeat, I laid them down and left them there. But you are the God who restores the years the locusts have eaten. You are the God who breathes life into dry bones. And if you are calling me to rebuild, then I trust you have not forgotten the blueprint, even when I have. Lord, show me the foundations that are still strong. Show me the places where you have preserved something pure even through the storm. Help me not to start over in fear, but in faith, not in haste, but in obedience, not to prove anything, but to honor what you have placed within me. I do not want to construct something for applause. I want to build something that will last, something that reflects your goodness, something that carries your name. There are relationships that feel fractured, ones that once brought joy, laughter, belonging. Now there is silence, or strain, or distance I do not know how to cross. I bring those ruins to you. Father, the misunderstandings, the words that were said and those that were not, the gaps where trust was broken, the pain that lingered because healing was never spoken. I cannot fix them alone, but I believe you can redeem even the most complicated stories. Begin again where only you can. Restore what was lost or reshape what must be made new. God, I also bring you my sense of purpose. There have been seasons when I felt like I was walking fully in what you made me for days, when joy met calling and work felt holy. But then came the detours, the delays, the disappointments, and slowly I lost sight of why I was made. I began to question if I was ever meant for anything significant. But that is not the voice of truth. That is not the voice of my Creator. You do not make mistakes. You do not call someone and then change your mind. So I come again to the ruins of forgotten purpose and ask you to speak, to rebuild what doubt has tried to erase. And in this process, Father, teach me to trust the pace. I know rebuilding takes time. It is not rushed or forced. It is done brick by brick, prayer by prayer, act of obedience by act of obedience. Help me not to grow weary when I cannot see quick results. Remind me that slow progress is still progress, that deep roots take time to grow, that you are more concerned with the integrity of the structure than the speed of the construction. As I rebuild, show me the tools I already carry, the gifts you have placed inside me, the experiences that shaped me, the lessons I have learned through both joy and sorrow. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing is beyond use in your hands. Even the ruins themselves tell a story not of failure, but of survival, not of ending, but of beginning again. Let every stone laid bear witness to your faithfulness, not my effort. Let what rises be holy because it was built with you. I bring you the ruins of my confidence. It has been shaken by seasons of silence, by words that wounded, by battles that drained me. But I hear you calling me to rise again, not with arrogance, but with assurance, with a quiet boldness that comes from knowing who I belong to, with a steady voice that says, I may have been broken, but I am not beyond repair. Teach me to see myself not through the lens of loss, but through the light of what you are restoring. Rebuild my habits, too, the ones I neglected during hard seasons, the rhythms of prayer, rest, reflection, generosity, the quiet disciplines that keep me grounded. I want to live intentionally, not reactively. I want my days to be shaped by peace, not pressure. Help me find those sacred patterns again, not as rules, but as lifelines. Let the daily work of rebuilding become worship. Let the ordinary routines be infused with eternal meaning. Lord, I also bring you the ruins. I did not cause the brokenness in the world around me. The injustice, the division, the sorrow I see in the lives of others. Sometimes it feels too big, too heavy. But you have not asked me to fix everything. You have asked me to be faithful, to love one person at a time, to serve where I am, to offer my hands even when I feel small. Let me be part of rebuilding not only my world, but the world around me. Let compassion lead me. Let mercy be my language. Let hope be the tool I carry into dark places. And even as I rebuild, remind me that you are the master builder, that this is not mine alone to carry, that you are the one who strengthens arms, who provides wisdom, who lays the cornerstone and finishes the work. I do not rebuild alone. I do not create in isolation. You are with me in every detail. You are in the dust and the progress, the struggle and the victory. Let this rebuilding season not be marked by striving, but by surrender. Let it be shaped by humility, not hustle. Let it be guided by your spirit, not my own ambition. I do not want to return to what once was. I want to build something stronger, deeper, purer, something that reflects what I have learned, how I have grown, and most of all, who you are. And when I am tempted to give up, when progress feels slow, when the rubble feels overwhelming, remind me of what you have already done. Remind me of how far we have come. Let gratitude fuel perseverance. Let worship rise in the middle of the work. Let every stone laid become a testimony. Let every wall rebuilt declare, God was here. I trust you with the blueprints. I trust you with the timeline. I trust you with the outcome. My job is not to finish in my own strength, but to show up and let you lead, to bring what I have, to offer what remains, to believe that what looks like ruins can become a temple, that what was torn down can be resurrected, that what felt lost can become the foundation of something unshakable. So here I am, God, surrounded by dust and promise, willing to build again, willing to believe again, willing to put one foot in front of the other, trusting that step by step, you are making all things new. Lord, as I sit in the stillness of this early hour, I feel the gentle pull of your spirit bringing me into remembrance. My heart begins to wander back, not to dwell in sorrow, but to recall the undeniable moments when your hand rescued me from the brink. As I take this quiet breath, the memories rush in, not just memories of pain, but of the miraculous ways you showed up when all hope seemed lost. I remember, Lord, I remember the nights when fear gripped my chest so tightly I thought I would collapse, and yet you spoke peace to my storm. I remember the days when I had nothing, no strength, no direction, no clear reason to go on, and yet you carried me, unseen but sure. The same voice that spoke the stars into being whispered my name in the dark, and I lived. God, the very mention of your faithfulness stirs something deep within me. I was not forgotten then, and I am not forgotten now. You have always been the one who came through, even when I doubted you, even when I chose other voices above yours, even when I walked away in frustration or silence. Still you followed, still you loved, still you made a way. I feel my soul reaching for those ancient altars I have built in the wilderness, those spiritual markers of grace, those sacred places in my heart where I saw you move and knew, without question, that you are real. Lord, return me to those altars, not to live in the past, but to be fueled by the truth that you never fail. There was that season, Lord, when everything fell apart, relationships cracked, finances dried up, and my dreams scattered like dust in the wind. I see it clearly now. I see how I begged you for rescue, and you did not respond with thunder or fire. You responded with a whisper. A door opened quietly. Conversation changed the course. A stranger became a friend. A small job grew into provision. You are not always loud, but you are always present. You stitched together my broken life with threads of mercy and unexpected kindness. You were there in the ordinary, making it extraordinary. Father, it is easy to forget, so easy to let the noise of today drown out the miracles of yesterday. But right now, I silence the noise. I close my eyes to the chaos and open them to what you have done. You gave me strength when my hands were trembling. You gave me sleep when my nights were restless. You gave me courage when my voice was shaking. You gave me peace that did not make sense. And every time I felt like I was falling, you were already beneath me. You have never let me hit the bottom, not once, not truly. You caught me in your grace every single time. And when I was tired of waiting, oh, how many seasons I grew weary in waiting. You did not shame me. You reminded me that you are not slow as I count slowness, but patient, loving, orchestrating all things for good. I see that now. You were not absent. You were working. You were not ignoring me. You were protecting me from what I did not yet understand. You knew what I was becoming even when I did not. You saw the seed in me when all I saw was dry ground. And you kept watering it when no one else even noticed it was there. That is who you are, a God of slow miracles and hidden growth, a God of roots before branches, a God who builds deep before he lifts high. So, I stand today on the foundation of everything you have already done. I choose to remember instead of fear. I choose to speak of your goodness instead of repeating my worries. I choose to testify, even if my voice shakes, because you have earned my trust, not just by the blessings, but by the way you held me in the drought. Not just by the breakthroughs, but by the long nights of no answers where somehow I was still sustained. Those are miracles to the ones that do not come with fireworks, but with gentle daily bread. Lord, I lift up every soul that forgets, those who feel lost in the fog of now, unable to see the mountain you already moved. Open our eyes. Remind us who you have been. Restore our memory of deliverance. Let our hearts overflow with gratitude, not only for what we are praying for, but for what we have already received. Help us keep records of grace, written not just on paper, but etched on our hearts. May the history of your faithfulness become the weapon wielded in battle today. May we hold up our testimony like a shield when doubt comes roaring. And when I hear the enemy whisper that I have been abandoned, I will shout louder the truth of what you have done. I will remind myself of every valley where you were my shepherd, every fire where you walked beside me, every river where I did not drown because you held my head above the tide. You did not save me to leave me. You did not begin a work in me only to abandon it halfway through. You are the finisher. You are the author. You are the keeper of promises that stretch through generations. You are the God who remembers even when I forget. So let this moment be a declaration. I remember. I choose to remember. I look back not to be bound, but to be emboldened. I revisit the past not to relive pain, but to retrieve strength. For every tear you caught, every door you opened, every wound you healed, every whisper of comfort you sent, I thank you. And I hold them all as fuel for this very hour, for this very mountain before me. You were faithful then, you are faithful now, and you will be faithful still. God, as I quiet my heart before you once again, I feel the lingering echoes of the surrender I offered just moments ago. It is not easy, Lord, to let go of what I have built my hopes upon, to unclench my hands from dreams I once called divine. But there is peace forming now, not because everything around me has changed, but because something within me has begun to soften under your hand. I do not need all the answers anymore. I only need the assurance that you are near, and in this moment, I sense you are closer than the air I breathe. You have not rushed me through the pain. You did not demand I leap to joy when I barely made it through the H. You simply sat with me, gently holding what I could not, and in that stillness, I discovered something sacred. I discovered that waiting with you is not a passive act. It is a bold trust. It is an act of faith to remain where you have placed me without running, without forcing open doors that remain closed. I used to see silence as absence. Now I see it as invitation. Father, what is this mystery of surrender that feels so much like strength? Why does this quietness, which the world might see as giving up, feel more like rising up from within? My soul does not scream for resolution anymore. It whispers for revelation, for deeper knowing, for the kind of understanding that cannot be taught in words, but must be lived through days like these. I want to understand your will, not just endure it, not merely tolerate what you allow. Embrace it even when I do not understand the why. There is something about resting in your will, even when it is heavy, that brings a strange kind of joy, not the exuberant kind, but the settled kind. The joy that is content to exist quietly in the background, like a steady hum of assurance. You are not in a hurry with me. You are not disappointed by my pace. You are shaping me with every breath, even the ones I take in uncertainty. Lord, help me to see that surrender is not defeated as devotion. It is not giving up, it is giving in to something greater. And the more I release, the more you restore. I do not want to grasp at my own version of life when you are offering something eternal, unshakable, holy. I do not want to manipulate outcomes when your timing is already perfect. I only want to align with you, to be so deeply tuned to your whisper that I move only when you move, speak only when you lead, act only when you anoint. The world teaches me to strive, to climb, to achieve, but you remind me to bow, to kneel, to trust that the ground of surrender is more fruitful than the mountain of ambition. I feel my posture changing, not because I am less than before, but because I am finally resting in who you are. I do not have to prove anything. I do not have to fight to be seen. You have seen me all along. You have loved me when I was pushing and when I was pausing. And in the pause, I found the pulse of your presence. God, when I am tempted to take back control, when fear begins to whisper again, remind me of this moment, this breath, this sacred stillness, When I feel the pressure to explain myself, defend my path, or speed up the journey, remind me that your ways are higher, and your timing is mercy. I do not walk through life alone. I walk with the one who numbers the stars and also numbers my tears. I walk with the one who holds the universe and still holds my hand. Sometimes your will feels like a wilderness, but even the wilderness has hidden springs. Sometimes your will feels like silence, but even the silence hums with unseen grace. Sometimes your will feels like loss, but even loss makes room for something deeper, more eternal. I cannot measure your goodness by what I see alone. I must measure it by who you are. So I will stay here, Father, not out of resignation, but out of reverence. I will stay where you have placed me until you say move. I will stay until the lesson is learned, until the roots grow deep, until the soil of today becomes the fruit of tomorrow. And while I wait, I will worship. While I watch, I will whisper gratitude. While I wonder, I will remember. You are the God who sees me, the God who hears, the God who remembers his promises. And that is enough. That is more than enough. I do not have to understand everything to trust you in everything. You are writing a story I cannot yet read in full, but I trust the author. I trust the heart behind the hand that holds the pen. So even now, in this chapter that still feels unfinished, I lift my eyes and say again, not my will, but yours be done, Lord. In the hush that follows revelation, when the echoes of past pain begin to settle, and the future's lies ahead like an unopened path, I come again with a heart that longs to trust. It is not that the storm has ended, but something inside whispers, perhaps I do not need to see the entire journey to take the next step. As the last chapter bled out my weariness, I now stand at the edge of surrender, not as a defeat, but as a gentle release into your mysterious will. There is still fear in the corners of my mind, still questions that shout in the silence, but I choose to walk with you through this uncertainty. I remember the times you carried me when I did not know I was being held. I remember the doors that closed so another could open, even when I fought against them. That memory alone gives me courage now. Courage not because I know the outcome, but because I know you. And that knowing is enough. Father, you are the light that does not blind but gently reveals, the voice that does not shout but steadies my trembling hands. I have always thought trust meant clarity, but I am learning that trust is choosing you even when the picture remains incomplete. The longer I walk with you, the more I realize that faith is not built in the answers, but in the questions that drive me to your presence. I surrender again not to hopelessness, but to your timing. You have never failed me, though my heart has often failed you. And yet, here we are, together again at the break of another morning, and you still wait for me, not with reprimand, but with open arms. That, Lord, is grace. That is what softens the H and steadies my breath. That is what makes me whisper, I will trust you here. God, I confess that trusting the unknown has never come easily. I reach for logic, for patterns, for anything that makes this walk predictable. But you are not a formula. You are a father, a shepherd, a potter, a friend, and each of those names tells me that you are intimately involved, delicately shaping the story even when I do not see your hands. You are not absent. You are not withholding. You are preparing. Even in this silence, you are speaking. And I want to lean into the stillness and listen. What are you teaching me in this stretch of road where answers are scarce, but your peace keeps flowing like a river in my soul? I find comfort, Lord, in the stories of those who walked before me. Abraham, who left everything without a map, simply because you said go. Esther, who risked her life not knowing if the outcome would be deliverance or death. Joseph, who endured betrayal and prison, but still rose because your plan never faltered. These are not fairy tales. They are testimonies. And if you were faithful to them, I know you will be faithful to me. I am not forgotten. I am not cast aside. I am being written into something sacred. Even now, help me remember that my obedience today is part of a miracle unfolding tomorrow. Lord, when my mind spins in fear, bring stillness. When I am tempted to run ahead or retreat behind, give me the courage to remain in this present step with you. Remind me that trust does not require full understanding, only full surrender. Help me rest in the assurance that you are not just the God of outcomes, but the God of the process. You do not merely wait for me at the finish line. You walk with me in every slow, uncertain, faith-filled step, and that walk, however winding, is holy ground. There are days when I wonder if I am strong enough, days when the weight of waiting or the burden of unanswered prayer feels too much to carry. But I hear you gently whisper, I never asked you to carry it alone. So I place this weight in your hands again, not because I am giving up, but because I am giving into your strength, your timing, your plan, and in that release, I feel peace settle deeper than the panic, joy rise stronger than the sorrow, hope burn brighter than the fear. You are not just with me, you are for me, and that changes everything. Even as I speak these words, I know you are listening, not as a distant deity, but as the closest friend. You are near, you are enough, and even if I do not see what is next, I can still lift my eyes to you and say, lead me. That is all I need, not a map, not a sign. Just the assurance that the one leading me is good, that you are good, always good. So Lord, here I am, in this moment between what was and what will be. I choose to trust you not because I understand, but because I believe, not because the path is smooth, but because I know your hands hold me. Keep shaping me through the mystery. Keep refining me through the waiting. Keep drawing me closer through the silence. You are not finished with my story, and neither am I. Let today be another page of trust, written not in certainty, but in surrender. Let my life be a testimony that trust does not require sight, only faith. Father, you are the anchor in my ever-shifting sea. As I come out of yesterday's tears and today's trembling questions, I cling to the steady truth of your character. From the edges of my mind where doubts try to form, I bring each one back to your promises, to the word you whispered before the waves rose, You are not absent in silence, nor idle in stillness. You are always moving, even when my eyes are too wary to trace the lines of your hand. So I stretch my faith like a sail in the wind, trusting you to breathe me forward, even when the horizon disappears beneath clouds. Lord, I give you this present moment, raw and unfiltered. The H. The hope, the waiting that presses behind my ribs. It is all yours. I can T-shape the outcome, but I can surrender the journey. I can T-predict the next turn, but I can trust the one who mapped every road. Teach me to walk with my head lifted, not because the path is smooth, but because my eyes are fixed on you. Make me brave enough to pray for rain if that is what will grow the breakthrough. Make me strong enough to still my soul when you ask me to be still and know. God, you have brought me through nights darker than this one. So why should I fear now? You have parted seas I did not even know I was drowning in. You have lifted me from shadows that others wrote me off in. You have whispered purpose into ashes. So I refuse to believe that this valley will end in defeat. I believe you are forming something eternal in what I cannot see yet. I believe every delay is divine. Every silence is sacred. Every tear you catch and redeem in ways I cannot fathom yet. Let me not grow bitter in waiting or careless in comfort. Keep me attentive to your movement, no matter how subtle. Father, as morning breaks gently across the sky, let light rise within me too. Let courage stretch in the spaces where fear used to live. Let your love be louder than every lie. Remind me again that nothing is wasted, not the long waits, not the broken plans, not even the moments I wanted to give up. Everything surrendered to you becomes holy. Every weakness entrusted to you becomes strength. And even the pieces I wish I could forget are held in the mosaic of redemption you are weaving for glory. So hold me here in this sacred now, as I await what is becoming. Shall I fear rejection when you have called me accepted? Shall I doubt provision when you fed the sparrows? Shall I lose heart when you shaped mine with your own breath? No, I will not let the shadows of temporary setbacks obscure the permanence of your promise. You are faithful through generations, unchanged by seasons or storms. So let me praise you not only when the answer comes, but even now, while I still wait for the door to open. Let worship be my war cry and gratitude be my shield. Lord, make me soft where pain has made me hard. Break the crust of survival that dulls my wonder. Let joy be reborn in places I had forgotten it could live. I want to wake up to your presence again and again, not just at dawn, but in every sacred interruption, in every silent hour that carries more than words can say, in every moment where the world feels too heavy. Let me reach for the weight of your glory instead, in every place where I feel unseen. Let me remember you see me fully and still love me deeply. God, today I release my need to figure everything out. I place into your hands the timelines I have clung to, the deadlines that dictate my peace, and the fears that tighten their grip when things do not go as I planned. Help me walk slowly enough to listen, humble enough to learn, and surrendered enough to be changed. You are not rushed by time, nor confined by human logic. You are the God of miracles, and you move in ways beyond imagination. So let me rest, not in knowing what comes next, but in knowing you. And while I wait, let my hands be open. Let me serve while I trust, give while I hope, love while I heal. Let me not waste this space between prayer and answer. May it be fertile ground for faith to flourish. May my life testify, not just of the breakthrough that came, but of the faith that held me steady when it had not yet. Let your light shine in my posture, in my presence, in the way I extend kindness without conditions. Make me a vessel, emptied of fear and filled with you. Father, you are writing a story with my life, and not a single line is wasted, even the pauses, even the pain, even the pages I want to skip. They all have purpose in your hands. So help me to read this season with trust. Let my eyes look for beauty buried deep in the hard places. Let my heart beat with a rhythm tuned to grace. Let me remember that even here, especially here, you are with me, and you are enough. Lord, you are the same yesterday, today, and forever. And even as my heart still trembles in the wake of all I have laid before you, I sense that you are not yet finished. The night may have stretched longer than I had hoped, and the winds may have whispered doubts louder than truth. But I come into this new moment clinging not to my own strength, but to your unwavering faithfulness. What began in a whisper has grown into a quiet resolve within me, this assurance that even the silence speaks of your sovereignty. And so, as I exhale the remnants of my worry, I inhale the breath of your peace. I lean into the stillness, no longer afraid of what it hides, but trusting in what it holds. You are the God who hides treasures in darkness and reveals them in time. Though I have not yet seen the door swing wide, I know you have placed my hand upon the handle. Though I have not heard the trumpet of change, I can feel the vibration of transformation humming beneath my feet. You are preparing something I cannot yet name, but deeply crave. Let my faith not hinge on noise, nor depend on signs alone. Let it be rooted in the unseen and anchored in the eternal. Let the roots of my hope grow deeper during drought, not weaker, because I believe that even when heaven seems quiet, it is never inactive. Even in the pause, your plan is progressing. Even in the shadows, your light is gathering. I surrender the urge to manufacture answers or chase solutions that come from man. Teach me to be patient in the furnace, to be still in the pressure, for it is here, in this refining, that gold is found. It is here, in the waiting, that character is born. It is here, in the holding on, that the breakthrough is carved. I no longer ask you to rush the process, but to redeem it. I no longer plead for escape, but for endurance. Because I do not want a shallow miracle, I want a deep one that transforms me from the inside out. God, I now realize that what I once saw as delay was actually design. You were not stalling. You were saving. You were saving me from the lesser, from the hurried, from the half-built. And I thank you. I thank you that you love me enough to withhold what is premature. I thank you for the mercies that came wrapped in disappointment. I thank you that your timing refuses to serve my impatience, but bows only to your wisdom. So here, in this 3M silence, I rest not in understanding, but in trust. I do not demand to see the full picture. I choose to celebrate the brushstroke. I will not withhold praise until the promise arrives. I will pour it out now, as if it already has, because in many ways it already has. My character is shifting. My heart is softening. My eyes are opening. And that alone is a breakthrough worth rejoicing in. Lord, give me fresh oil today, oil for the lamp, for the long journey, oil for the soul, for the sacred assignment. Let me not grow weary in well-doing, for in due time, your word says I will reap if I do not faint. So strengthen my hands once more, renew my resolve. Teach my feet to dance again, even on uncertain ground. Remind me that every step I take in faith plants a seed you will not forget. And as I step into this new day, may I carry with me a reverence for your mystery and a hunger for your whisper. May I see every delay not as punishment, but as preparation. May I count every closed door as a redirection, not a rejection. May I stop asking why me, and start declaring use me. Use me to be a vessel of hope in someone's famine. Use me to be a carrier of peace in a room full of anxiety. Use me to reflect your character when others forget who you are. Lord, do not just give me a breakthrough that changes my situation. Give me one that changes my perspective. Break me free from small thinking, from shallow praying, from survival-based living. Lead me into the land of overflow, where faith is not just a feeling but a lifestyle, where miracles are not only requested but expected, where peace is not a luxury but a foundation. If there are still walls within me that need to crumble, let them fall today. If there are still chains that cling to my identity, break them now. If I have given fear a name in my life, help me rename it with truth. Let every label I have believed that does not come from you be peeled away. Let every lie I have accepted be exposed by the light of your word. Today, I ask not just for your hand, but for your heart. Let me know you more than I know answers. Let me seek your face more than I seek your gifts, because what I truly need most is not a change in scenery, but a change in spirit. Not a rescue from discomfort, but a revelation of purpose in it. You are not the God who merely delivers us from fire. You're the one who walks with us in it. Thank you for being closer than breath, stronger than storms, and more faithful than I could ever deserve. Thank you that my tears are counted, not wasted, that my weakness is a canvas for your power, that even my flaws become instruments in your symphony of grace. I choose to walk forward today, not because the road is easy, but because you are enough. I choose to rise again, not because I never fall, but because you lift me every time. And I believe, with every fiber of my being, that this new dawn carries the fragrance of breakthrough, that what was planted in pain will bloom in purpose, that what was lost will be restored in greater measure, that what was broken will be rebuilt by hands far more capable than mine. Because you, Lord, are the master builder, and nothing you touch is ever left unfinished. God, as the quiet echoes of my spirit continue to rise from the stillness of reflection, I sense how you have gently drawn me into a deeper intimacy, where trust is no longer a concept, but a lived testimony. The burdens I once carried in silence are now offerings placed at your feet, and in return, you have clothed me with a garment of peace that no earthly storm can unravel. The uncertainty that once made me tremble has been replaced by a certainty not rooted in circumstance, but in the unchanging nature of who you are. It is as if every unanswered question has found its rest not in explanation, but in the sheer presence of your love. And as I walk this path that you have laid before me, step by step, I realize more fully that breakthrough is not always about open doors or sudden change, but sometimes about enduring with unwavering confidence that you are working all things together for my good in the silence between miracles. You are teaching me that faith is most beautiful when it blooms in the soil of waiting. It is here, Lord, that I learn to breathe even when the wind is knocked from my chest. It is here that I choose to worship, because I see the way, but because I trust the one who does. I surrender yet again, deeper than before, because there is a tenderness in your refining fire that draws me, not away, but toward you. And with each layer you peel back, I see more clearly the masterpiece you are forming beneath the brokenness. You have not wasted a single tear. Not a single sigh has escaped your notice. I no longer fear the shaping of my soul, because I trust the hands that mold it. I trust the vision behind the process. I trust that what you are birthing in the dark will one day shine brighter than anything I could have created in my own strength. Father, let this trust not merely be a feeling, but a resolve, a declaration in the face of delay. Let it echo through every choice I make today. When doubt comes knocking, may it find my house filled with unwavering belief. When fear whispers, let it be drowned out by the melody of your promises. I do not ask for a life without difficulty, but for a faith that dances even in the rain. I do not ask for answers, but for an unshakable trust that even unanswered prayers are still held in divine hands. Lead me to love without conditions, to serve without recognition, to walk humbly even when I am right, and to yield even when I do not understand. This is the evidence of breakthrough, when trust spills over into every interaction, when peace anchors even the most turbulent of moments. Let it be said of me, not that I had all the victories, but that I trusted you with every valley. Let that be my legacy, that I believed even when it did not make sense. And so today, I ask not for comfort but for courage, not for clarity but for commitment, not for a path free from obstacles, but for feet that do not falter. I choose to trust, and in doing so, I find the breakthrough has already begun. For what can defeat a heart that leans fully into its maker? What chain can bind a soul that believes beyond what it sees? What fear can grip a mind stayed on your truth? The dawn may not yet have broken, but the light within me grows. It grows because you planted it. It grows because you breathed on it. It grows because your word is alive, igniting hope in every hidden crevice of my being. I will rise in this trust, and I will walk forward not with haste, but with holy confidence. Because when trust becomes my testimony, no storm can steal my song. Lord, as the trust within me matures into a steady flame, I sense how it begins to illuminate places I once feared to enter. That light is not my own, but the reflection of your unwavering faithfulness. It is not loud, not boastful, but constant, like a lamp set in the window of a home that never stops, waiting for the weary to return. From the quiet victory of trust, I now move into a place where that trust becomes guidance, not merely emotional comfort, but direction, divine and sure. I walk roads now that once looked too broken to step on, because your presence lights each crack with promise. What I thought were dead ends, you have turned into turns in the road, where confusion once whispered chaos. I now hear clarity because I have learned to listen beyond the noise of my thoughts, into the stillness where your voice resounds. Each time I am tempted to panic, I remember how you have come through before, not always with what I expected, but always with what was needed. And in that remembering, I find courage to take the next step. Even when the fog is thick, my feet do not always feel strong, but my heart leans into the certainty that you will not let me stumble beyond your reach. You are not just the God of breakthroughs, but the God of quiet navigation. You walk with me not only in wide-open deliverance, but in tight corners where shadows creep close and fear lurks. Even then, especially then, your light becomes a whisper that tells me I am not lost. I am led. Your guidance does not always shout. Sometimes it shows up as a pause in my chest, a gentle unease that nudges me away from what looks good, but is not from you. Sometimes it is a peace that surpasses logic, a steady calm that says go when everything in me wants to retreat. I am learning that direction from you is not a map with every detail, but a relationship with every moment. I do not need to know the full way ahead when I know the one who goes before me. And so, I yield again. I hand you the parts of me still gripping control. I surrender the timelines I built, the deadlines I imposed, the expectations I carried like burdens. I drop them at your feet, not in defeat, but in faith, because I believe you know how to get me where I need to be. And more than that, you care deeply that I get there whole, not just fast. You are not only my compass, you are my restoration along the way. Teach me to recognize your signs even when they look like setbacks. Help me to trust delays that protect me from detours. Let me see that closed doors are not punishments, but preservations. Give me eyes that do not just see what is visible, but perceive what you are doing beneath it all. I do not want to follow blindly, but with discernment rooted in love, not fear, with obedience that flows from intimacy, not obligation. Thank you for being the kind of father who does not abandon me to figure it out alone. Thank you for caring about the little steps, the confusing intersections, the seasons of silence that stretch longer than I hoped. I know now that silence is not absence. It is invitation, an invitation to lean in, to stay close, to believe even when nothing moves. You are always working, even when the answers are not yet in sight. In this morning light, I recommit my heart to follow you, not just when the path is easy, but especially when it is not. I walk into this day with a spirit that refuses to rush, refuses to panic, and refuses to compare. I walk in rhythm with your grace, one step at a time, one breath at a time. Let my movement be worship. Let my trust be testimony. Let my life be a light that points back to yours. Shine in me until others see not my strength, but your stability. Guide me until even in the valleys, I say with confidence, this too is the way. You are the shepherd who leads through shadows. You are the light that no darkness can extinguish. You are the voice I follow, even when it whispers. And today, that is enough. Father, You are the one who anchors my soul when everything around me seems uncertain. As I walk forward, carrying the light you have placed within me, I begin to understand that your direction is not only about paths, but about posture, how I carry my heart, how I listen, how I respond. The road may twist, but your peace holds me steady. You do not rush me forward. You invite me deeper. Each moment of hesitation becomes a holy pause where you whisper wisdom that I would miss if I moved too fast. The world tells me to run, to hustle, to chase what glitters. But you, God, draw me into stillness where real clarity lives. I now see that obedience is not just about doing big things, but about saying yes to small things with great faith. You are there in the details, in the conversations I almost overlook, in the decisions that seem minor, in the choices that shape destiny without announcement. You are in it all, quietly, faithfully, unwaveringly. Every breath I take is evidence of your sustaining grace. I do not want to rush through the hours, unaware of your presence, blind to the beauty you hide in plain sight. Teach me to walk slowly enough to notice. Help me listen with intention, to speak with kindness, and to hold space for your spirit to move. Let my life not be a blur of obligations, but a song of awareness, a daily offering of devotion born not from striving, but from resting in your nearness. You, Lord, have never failed me. Even in the silences, you are speaking. Even in the waiting, you are working. Even when the world turns its back, you turn toward me with compassion that never runs dry. I surrender my anxiety, my control, my expectations. I surrender the fear of missing out, the noise that demands to be heard, and the need to always know what is next. I trust you in the not knowing. I trust you in the pauses between promises and fulfillment. You are God in the silence as much as you are in the celebration. You are holy in the hush just as you are in the hallelujahs. Let me be one who worships not only with loud declarations, but with quiet dependence. Let my trust be proven not in what I declare from the mountaintop, but in how I wait in the valley. God, remind me that stillness is not weakness, that it takes strength to pause, to seek you before I act, to wait on your wisdom rather than rush in with my own. The world may interpret stillness as delay, but I know now that stillness is strategy in your kingdom. In the quiet, you realign me. In the stillness, you show me that I am not forgotten, not forsaken. I am simply being prepared. Your timing is precise, and your methods are perfect. You will not allow a single moment of waiting to be wasted. Every second is sacred when it is surrendered to you. Let me rise today with an anchored heart, not tossed by waves of emotion or circumstances beyond my control, but fixed in the truth of who you are. The same God who split the sea stands beside me. The same voice that calmed the storm speaks peace into my restless mind. I do not need every answer. I only need your presence. I do not seek certainty about tomorrow. I only want intimacy with you today. The rest will follow. You promise that if I seek first your kingdom and righteousness, all these things will be added. That is my posture this morning, a seeking heart, a surrendered spirit. Father, thank you for stillness that strengthens. Thank you for holy ground found not only in churches or revivals, but in my quiet kitchen, my early morning walk, the pause before I reply to an email, the silence before I open my mouth. May I become familiar with your whispers. May I trust the tug of your spirit more than the pull of my preferences. Let my spirit be so tuned to yours that I feel your pleasure when I choose peace over pride, when I choose patience over proving myself, when I choose to walk away from battles that are not mine to fight. I ask you to lead me today in grace. Let me not just do what is good, but what is God-ordained. Let me not just follow the loudest voice, but the truest one, yours. If I get ahead of you, pull me back. If I drag my feet, draw me forward. If I forget who I am, remind me that I am yours. You knit me in my mother's womb. You numbered my days before one of them came to be. There is nothing random in my journey, and nothing about me is invisible to you. You see it all. You hold it all. You are in it all. So here I am, again, in this sacred hour before the sun fully rises, saying yes again, yes to your process, yes to your pruning, yes to the peace that only stillness brings. You are the God who restores what haste ruins. You are the one who turns pauses into preparation. I believe you are preparing me not only for what I am praying for, but for what I cannot yet imagine. You are writing a story that is more beautiful than my best blueprint. I will not rush the author. I will trust the unfolding. I will rest in the holy stillness that holds me and heals me. Let today be marked not by my accomplishments, but by my awareness of you. Let the measure of this day be the depth of my dependence, the purity of my motives, and the peace that rules in my heart. If others see anything in me, let it be your reflection. If they hear anything in my words, let it be your kindness. If they feel anything from my presence, let it be your love. I am not my own. I am a vessel of grace. Use me as you will. Slow me where you must. Send me when it is time. And let my first step always begin in stillness with you. Father, as the silence of the early dawn fades into the stirring sounds of life beginning anew, I find myself still yearning, still leaning into the gentle assurance of your presence. The words that poured from my heart yesterday have not stopped echoing. They carry forward into this morning like the soft ripple of a stream that refuses to cease. The thoughts that settled into peace during the night rise again, not as burdens, but as reminders of the journey still unfolding. You know, Lord, how much I struggle with trusting what I cannot see. My eyes, so trained on the tangible, often miss the movement of your hand in the quiet. But as the hours pass and the light shifts, I begin to understand that not all miracles thunder when they arrive. Some come as gentle realignments, barely noticed until I look back and realize everything has changed. Today, as I continue walking in faith, I sense you inviting me to listen closer, not to the noise of my fears or the demands of my worries, but to the subtle whisper of your spirit. You do not push or coerce. You lead with tenderness, with a stillness that calms storms not by force, but by sheer nearness. And in that nearness, my spirit unclenches, my breath deepens, my resistance wanes. Let me not rush through this day looking only for signs, but help me to live as though I have already received, Let my actions be shaped not by desperation, but by the confidence that you are already orchestrating redemption in the background. I do not need to grasp. I just need to move with you step by step, moment by moment. There is a freedom. Father, in this kind of trust of freedom I have longed for, but only recently dared to believe is mine. I do not have to earn it. I do not have to prove anything. I just need to abide. And abiding is not passive. It is active surrender. It is choosing again and again to believe you are who say you are, even when my circumstances speak in a different voice. I bring you my fragile hopes today, not with clenched fists, but with open hands. Some of them I have held onto for so long. They have started to lose their shape, but you know their value. You know what I meant even when I did not know how to say it. You know what needs to stay and what needs to fall away. So I want to cling. I will let you decide what to breathe life into. There is a sacredness in this moment. This quiet communion with you before the demands of the world come calling. Here, nothing else matters but the truth of your love. Here, I am reminded that I am not alone. I never was, even in my loneliest nights. You were there quiet, watchful, unwavering. I may not have seen you, but you saw me. And that changes everything. Let this truth sink into every crevice of my soul. Let it break apart the lies I have believed about needing to perform or achieve to be worthy. You loved me before I knew what love was. You called me yours before I called your name. That is the foundation I want to live from. That is the place I want to return to when the weight of the world presses in. Help me today to offer that same grace to others. Not the kind that waits to be deserved, but the kind that flows freely because it comes from you. Remind me that every soul I encounter carries a weight I may not understand. Let my words be kind. Let my silence be comforting. Let my presence reflect the nearness of yours. I ask, too, for strength, not the strength to conquer mountains today, but the strength to stand still when you ask me to be present where I am instead of rushing toward the next thing. There is wisdom in waiting. There is growth in stillness. And sometimes the most courageous thing I can do is not to fight, but to rest. Father, my heart is full of both gratitude and longing. Gratitude for how far we have come, longing for what is yet to unfold. And I know you hold both. You never rush my process, never shame me for needing time. You meet me where I am and walk with me from there. That is the kind of love that reshapes the soul. So I lean in again, not because I have all the answers, not because the path is clear, but because I trust the one who walks beside me. You have never failed me, not once. And even if things do not unfold the way I imagined, I know you will use every thread, every detour, every delay for my good. The day stretches ahead, uncertain and full of possibility. I do not know what it holds, but I know you hold me. That is enough. That is everything. God, you who have been the quiet strength behind every breath I take. I come again in this moment where yesterday's surrender flows gently into today's stillness. The truth that you hold all things, that you walk beside me even when the path curves into mystery. continues to echo through my spirit like the rhythm of waves upon a faithful shore. There is no boundary between where the last prayer ended and this one begins, because the dialogue of my heart with yours never ceases. It simply deepens. I woke again this morning with the waiting pressing against my chest, not as a burden, but as a constant reminder that you are teaching me not only how to believe in your timing, but how to cherish the unfolding. You are not a God of rushed miracles or anxious deliverance. You are a God who writes beauty into process, meaning into every pause, and glory into what seems invisible. So often, I confess, I have measured your closeness by how quickly my circumstances changed, how swiftly pain was removed, or how tangibly I could trace your answers. But you are shifting that now. You are reshaping my understanding of trust. You are inviting me to believe that you are most present when I am most uncertain, that you are most at work when I feel the least in control. And there, in that fragile place of unknowns, I am beginning to sense something sacred, something I once feared, but now welcome. The silence between answers is not a void. It is a womb. It is where roots grow. It is where transformation happens beneath the surface, unseen but unstoppable. And though I may long to see the fruit, you remind me that nothing healthy grows without first being hidden. Lord, give me the grace to dwell in the hidden places with you. Let me not resent the quiet seasons. Let me not despise the days when progress is measured not in victories, but in quiet faithfulness. Teach me to find joy not only in breakthroughs, but in obedience. Let each small act of trust become an offering, a song I sing without needing applause, a whisper of worship when no one is watching. I realize now that so much of what I feared was never the waiting itself, but the thought that I was forgotten in it, that perhaps you had moved on, that maybe I had missed something or fallen behind. But your love is not fickle. It does not shift with my emotions or distance itself when I falter. You are the constant, unflinching presence in every season, every silence, every valley I thought I had to cross alone. Today, I choose to believe that you are in the middle of it, all the middle of prayers that have not yet been answered, the middle of stories still unfolding, the middle of the tension I cannot explain. You are not waiting at the finish line. You are right here in the stretch. And because of that, I can breathe deeper, I can walk slower, I can love better. Help me to notice you today in the small things, in the sound of wind through leaves, in the way sunlight warms my skin, in the kindness of a stranger's smile, in the patience it takes to listen before I speak. Let none of it go unnoticed. Let me live with such holy awareness that even the mundane becomes miraculous. Let my eyes be trained to see what is not obvious, to value what the world overlooks. I bring to you again the people I love, those whose burdens I cannot carry, but whose names I hold before you with trembling hope. I trust you with their pain. I trust you with their process. I trust that you are weaving something eternal even in the moments that feel unbearably human. Show me how to be present without trying to fix, how to pray without needing to control, how to love without fearing loss. You know, God, how I long to make a difference, how I desire for my life to reflect something of your glory. And yet I am learning that significance is not found in the spotlight, but in surrender. That lasting impact is made not through striving, but through stillness. Let me not chase purpose like a prize to be earned. Let me become it, day by day, as I abide in you. Strengthen me to keep showing up to the work that seems unnoticed, to the relationships that stretch me, to the dreams that feel too fragile to name aloud. Help me to walk through disappointment without becoming bitter, to embrace imperfection without losing hope, to carry compassion even when I feel empty. You are my source, not my strength, not my cleverness, not my plans. You, only you, the one who carved rivers into deserts, the one who turns mourning into dancing, the one who took dust and breathed life into it. You are still breathing. You are still moving. You are still doing a new thing even now. Even here. So as I go through the hours ahead, remind me again and again that I am not walking toward you. I am walking with you, that you are already in the place I am going, that nothing I face today will surprise you, and nothing I fear will be too great for you to redeem. Let me live like I believe that. Let me speak like someone who has seen the goodness of God in the land of the living. Let me serve like someone who knows their worth is secure. Let me rest like someone who knows the battle is not mine to win, but yours to carry. And when shadows try to whisper doubt, when discouragement comes in subtle waves, let the truth of your word rise louder. Let it silence every lie. Let it anchor me again in the promises that do not change. You have called me beloved. You have named me yours. And that is a name no season, no failure, no fear can ever take away. I walk forward now, not with all the answers, but with unwavering assurance in the one who holds them. I am not lost. I am led. I am not forsaken. I am folded into the heart of the Almighty. And because of that, no matter what today brings, I will stand, I will love, I will trust, and I will keep walking with open hands, expectant for what you will do next. Father, you who hold time in the palm of your hand, I return once more to this quiet space where yesterday as faith meets today's surrender. Even now, the words that spilled from my soul just moments ago remain tender on my heart, as if you were gently pressing them deeper into the soil of my spirit. You remind me again that I am not merely surviving this journey with you, I am being reshaped by it, redefined in the shadow of your goodness, and rebuilt through the rhythm of trust. It astounds me, Lord, how you never grow weary of my coming, how you welcome me without hesitation, even when all I bring are questions I cannot yet answer. You do not demand that I come with strength, only that I come with honesty. And so here I am again, not with polished words or the illusion of perfection, but with a heart wide open, raw and real. You do not turn away from brokenness. You draw nearer still. You breathe on the ashes until they glow with the promise of resurrection. This morning, I feel you drawing my gaze forward, not to rush the moment, but to remind me that hope is not passive. Hope looks ahead. Hope lifts its eyes from the valley and dares to believe there is still more to see, more to become, more to experience in you. And in that gentle invitation, I sense you calling me to walk not only with peace, but with purpose, to rise from this place of quiet and carry its power into the noise of the day. Give me the courage, God, to live fully awake. Let me not miss what you are doing, because I am too busy searching for something else. Let me not chase after things you never asked me, to carry or run after doors you never called me to open. Instead, fix my feet on the path you have marked, and my eyes on the wonder you are writing into every step. You know how easily I can become entangled in striving, in trying to prove my worth or earn your favor. But you have made it clear time and again that you do not delight in performance. You delight in presence. You are not impressed by the heights I reach, but by the posture of my surrender. So I lay it all down once more, the pressure to be enough, the fear of falling short, the burden of needing to have it all together. I release it all into your hands, and I choose to walk forward not in my own ability, but in your sustaining grace. Lord, if today brings opposition, teach me how to respond with compassion. If it brings confusion, remind me that clarity comes not from overthinking, but from stillness in your presence. If it brings opportunity, let me steward it with humility. And if it brings delay, help me to sit in the pause without bitterness, trusting that you are never idle, even in the silence. I ask you to soften my heart today, to make it tender toward others and resilient toward discouragement. Let me be someone who speaks life into dry places, who sees potential where others see problems, who extends grace not just when it is easy, but especially when it is not. Help me to listen with intention, to love without condition, to serve without needing recognition. You are shaping me through every interruption, every unexpected twist, every person you place in my path. Remind me that nothing is random in your hands. Every encounter carries meaning. Every delay carries purpose. Every challenge carries within it an invitation to grow deeper in you. Let me not waste a single moment waiting for life to begin, but recognize that life is unfolding even now in the ordinary, in the overlooked, in the stillness between steps. I think of the ones who are weary today, whose hearts are heavy, who feel like they are holding their breath in the waiting. Would you wrap them in your nearness? Would you whisper peace over their storm? Use me, if you will, as an extension of your kindness. Make me aware of the pain others hide, the burdens they carry silently. Let my presence be a healing balm, not because I have the answers, but because I reflect the one who does. Even as I pray this, I sense you reminding me that breakthrough is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it comes as a shift in perspective, as a new ability to forgive, as a slow untangling of fear. Sometimes it is the quiet courage to take the next step, or the strength to stay when everything inside wants to flee. Let me not miss the miracles that come in subtle, sacred ways. Let me not measure victory by the standards of the world, but by the transformation of my heart in the hidden places. And if today holds loss, Lord, hold me through it. Teach me to grieve with hope, to mourn with sacred confidence that nothing surrendered to you is ever wasted. You redeem what seems ruined. You restore what was torn. You resurrect what was buried. So I will not fear the death of what I thought should be. I will trust the rebirth of what you know must become. Let me carry peace that does not come from circumstance, but from the deep knowing that I am yours. Let me speak truth that does not come from cleverness, but from your spirit within me. Let me walk humbly, not needing to be first, not needing to be right, not needing to be seen, but content in the knowledge that I am held, led, and loved beyond measure. And as the hours unfold, may my heart remain tuned to yours. May I not drift into autopilot. May I resist the pull of distractions that numb my soul. Keep me anchored in this awareness that every breath is a gift, every encounter a possibility, every trial an opportunity to display your glory. You are not just the God of mountaintops. You are the God of long roads and tired feet, the God of early mornings and quiet tears, the God of laughter that returns after sorrow, the God who sits with me when I do not have the strength to stand. You are not just near, you are here. Right now, always, and because you are here, I have all I need. I have purpose when I feel lost. I have strength when I feel weak. I have direction when the path is unclear. I have love when I feel unlovable. I have joy when the world grows dim. I have you, and in having you, I lack nothing that truly matters. So let this day be a continuation of that truth. Let it be marked not by what I accomplish, but by how I abide. Not by what I build, but by how I trust. Not by how far I go, but by how deeply I remain rooted in you. And through it all, may my life echo one resounding declaration: you are enough. You have always been enough. You will always be enough, Lord. As the quiet of this final chapter settles around me, I feel the weight and wonder of this journey we have walked together. Each morning has been a soft unfolding, each word a gentle stretch of the soul toward something more sacred, more anchored, more whole. And now, as I sit here once more in the stillness of your presence, I realize this is not the end. It never was. It is a continuation, a gentle passing of light from one moment to the next, like the rising of dawn after the long hush of night. God, you have been so faithful. In every chapter, you met me exactly where I was. Some mornings I came carrying joy, and others I came barely holding together the pieces of my own spirit. But always, you welcomed me. Always, you listened. Always, you responded with a love that is not shaken by my weakness or measured by my consistency. I see now that it was never about perfect prayers or polished words. It was about presence. Yours, mine. Together. There were mornings I doubted, mornings I questioned, mornings I could not even form the words. Yet even my silence was safe with you. You read the spaces between my sentences, heard the H behind my sighs, and answered with peace I did not even know how to request. You gave me courage when I wanted to run, clarity when I could not think straight, and comfort when the tears came faster than the truth. Today, as I reflect on this path behind me, I see not a trail of perfection, but a tapestry of mercy. Every thread tangled, torn, or trembling has been held by your steady hands. Every morning prayer has been a part of a greater weaving, one I may not fully see on this side of eternity, but one I trust will reveal beauty beyond measure. Even the moments I thought were wasted, you turned into preparation. Even the pauses became protection. Even the losses made space for new life to bloom. And now, Father, I ask one more thing, not for myself alone, but for every soul who has walked this prayerful road with me. For the one who whispered these words through tears. For the one who stumbled upon them searching for hope. For the one who returned again and again, hungry for something eternal. Wrap them in your nearness. Remind them they are never forgotten. Show them that you are not just the God of mountaintop miracles, but the God who meets us in ordinary mornings, in quiet kitchens, in the hush of early hours when no one else is watching. May these prayers remain planted in them like seeds. And in the days to come, may they see those seeds rise first tender, then strong into the kind of faith that bends in the storm, but never breaks. Into the kind of peace that does not need everything to be perfect. Into the kind of love that reflects your heart more than their own need. Let them know that the sacred does not always feel loud or grand. Sometimes it is the breath they did not realize they were holding finally released. Sometimes it is the whisper of grace at the exact moment they were about to give up. Let this final prayer not be a closing, but a sending. A quiet commissioning into the everyday sacredness of their own lives. Let them carry these moments into every room they walk into, every decision they make, every conversation they hold. Let your voice echo in their spirit, even when the world around them grows loud. Let your nearness be the constant they can always return to, even when everything else changes. Remind them that faith is not a feeling, it is a posture, a choice to trust when there is no map, a choice to remain when it would be easier to run, a choice to keep showing up in prayer even when all feels silent. You see every quiet act of faith, every moment they chose mercy instead of revenge, love instead of fear, stillness instead of striving. And you delight in them not because they get it right, but because they keep coming back to you. If they are tired, be their rest. If they are afraid, be their courage. If they are lonely, be their companion. If they are stuck, be their breakthrough. And if they are wandering, be their guide. Let your spirit breathe through their days. Not just when they pray, but in how they live, how they love, how they serve. Let your fingerprints mark the mundane and the miraculous alike. And Lord, may this space we created, these shared words, these silent hopes, these unseen tears be a shelter they return to when they need, reminding that they are not alone, that they are deeply loved, that their voice matters, that their prayers do not disappear into the void, but rise like incense into the heart of heaven. To each soul who has traveled this path with me, thank you for your heart, your honesty, your courage to show up. This was never just about a daily ritual. It was about relationship, real, raw, and radiant with the light of grace. I honor your journey, your questions, your breakthroughs, your moments of waiting, your private victories. You have not walked alone. If you feel something stirring in your spirit even now, if a line or a phrase stayed with you, if your tears fell at any point along the way, know this: it matters. You matter, and you are seen, not just by me, but by the one who formed you, knows you, and is guiding you even now. Please take a moment to share your heart below. What did this journey awaken in you? What prayers rose within you that surprised you? What did God whisper into the quiet spaces of your life as we walked these mornings together? I would love to hear from you. We grow when we share, and someone else may find strength in your words, just as you found strength here. If this prayer series has blessed you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. Stay connected. Keep walking with us. There is more ahead. Share this video with someone you love, someone who may be walking through their own valley, their own midnight hour, their own season of searching, and above all, continue your own conversation with God, not just in mornings like these, but in every breath, every step, every heartbeat that reminds you He is near. Let this final word be a beginning. Let it drift into your soul like a gentle breeze through open windows, like the hush before morning light, like the first ripple of living water across the surface of a thirsty land. The dawn is rising, the air is soft, and grace, like sunlight, is reaching for you again.